This is what we do, boys. This is how we begin in this tea time. But if you were gonna do one of their little marketing things with the quote, the player quote, what would your player quote be?
No.
Player quote.
What is there context for this? Like maybe people need context. I don't know. Do they?
Well, it's okay.
Or does everyone know?
Like, yeah, is it to sell the game or is it just to endear yourself to the community?
Oh, I mean, does everyone know what you're talking about?
Oh, yeah. I guess we'll get some context.
Well, okay,
tweet out to someone. I was like, okay, I know what you mean. I know what you mean because I saw you guys talking about it.
So let's explain. Let's explain this
Reddit
advertising.
has latched onto a new thing.
Well, this has been going on for quite a while actually. So they're a bit late on the train, but I actually thought they stopped this. Or did they stop and they've just started it again?
It's not been for a while.
It hasn't been for a while, but ArenaNet had this peculiar marketing campaign, I suppose you could call it, where they tweet out a random quote from a player or something, and at some point, somewhere down the line, I actually thought that when I saw this on Reddit, I actually thought this was shopped because there was the one that just said and I thought, oh yeah, okay, right, this is one of those Reddit scamps having a bit of fun, right? But no, it was actually real, and that means they actually used that as marketing. So that's why we're asking Boots what his quote would be.
What my quote would be? Would it be from Boots, whatever?
Yeah,
it has to be, or to be like, what would be the best one?
You can do either.
Why don't you do two? Maybe you do one that's anonymous and one that's from Boots. You can see how different they are.
Oh man, I don't know. For me, it would probably be like builds !
Builds.
And that's all I got. That's how good at marketing I am.
Okay.
And yeah, I don't know. Okay, so it is a weird marketing campaign. Although there was on Reddit somebody with an ArenaNet tag responding to everybody's comments about it. And they were saying that it wasn't technically a marketing campaign. And I don't know how much we could read into that.
On their
because
Twitter. It was just on their Twitter, right? That's literally the only place it was. That's not a marketing campaign.
Yeah.
It's not
like
really
they spend money.
It's more of a...
It hasn't been appearing in Google adverts, right? It hasn't been
Except
appearing.
someone did respond to him with screen caps where it said advertisement, and then they had those pictures. They had the. So, but then again, that could be Photoshop, so I don't know how true that is.
Yeah, that could be shopped.
Yeah. So I don't know. So it depends. It might just not be an advertising campaign, in which case they could do whatever they want, really. They're not spending money on it. But it is kind of funny that if it was an advertising campaign, I don't see how effective that would be at all.
Well, it might make people click, man. It might make people click because they'll just be like, what the
actually,
fuck?
In response to it also, somebody on Reddit said, I clicked on this because I thought how weird and funny it is, and it brought me to the game. So I think at least it got one person in.
What's the thing we're talking about it, right? Like, what's advertising? What's promotion? Like, it's like, all right, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad as long as it gets some attention.
Yeah.
Oh.
Look at Donald Trump, for example.
Well, this is true, but what do you want to be known as? The company that prints as a player quote on their advert, or do you want to be the company that makes like the extremely high fidelity cutscenes like Blizzard or something?
But I mean, I think it's sometimes as well you have to think about why is the reason that this is one thing that's been taken notice of, right? So that whole ad thing, is it like because at the moment if there was so much other stuff going on, this would have just been. Well, no one would have cared.
I'm not sure. We should probably move on relatively quickly, but I'm not even sure if that's exactly true because the thing is, it's evolved, right? And this could be intentional. ArenaNet could be playing 4D chess here, right? But before
4D chess,
4D chess, because before
is that like Star Trek chess?
Exactly.
It's in time.
It's in time as well. You can move the pieces back in time as well, but. But before, when this first came out, when they first started doing this, everyone just thought it was horrible and just terrible. But now it's funny as well. You see, so now it's both, and that's why it's back and people like it. Well,
yeah, I feel like there's a small backlash though, because they did do like a big thread on the forum saying, here, this is what we're currently putting out. I want to hear your feedback about stuff. Like there's a video, I think. It wasn't talking about the little blurbs, but there was a video that they wanted to put out, and they wanted feedback or something, and a huge thread. A lot of people gave feedback, and then obviously we haven't seen the results of the feedback yet, because it takes a long time to put out an ad thing based on feedback. Like it takes a long time to actually put out a real strategy with ads. But the next thing to come out ad-wise that people saw was the and so they're like, this is what you got from our feedback.
I don't know. I just count it as, it's not a horrible idea generally. It's just that maybe that quote specifically wasn't the best one, because you could take it in any context.
I just want to know where they got this from. I just want to know where they got them from.
Yeah, was it
That's a good question, actually. Like. Was it maybe a response to somebody on Twitter? Because it can't be. Did they find in-game people saying
Probably
they do basic.
Flame Ranger is just like no. It's just like No,
that's release, dude. That's release.
Yeah. Or is it that what was it, that Gachi video where they go
Oh, Gachi. Depending on song requests again, Jebro?
I don't know.
Song requests?
I don't know. All I know is that if you play it too much, you get banned twice in a row.
Yeah. Well, that's only if you show raw Gachi, and that's a very different thing. You got to watch out for raw Gachi. But anyway, my friends.
Yeah.
My friends, sorry, go ahead, Boots. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say the one thing. Actually, no, never mind. I'm not even gonna say it.
What?
I'm done.
Okay.
I was gonna bring it up to PvP tournaments. Not PvP tournaments. PvP, like the Pro Tour and stuff like that, and the prize money. Like a long time ago, we had thought that
I like that.
The PvP Pro tournaments and all that, they were like the prize money for all the given up by ArenaNet. We all like originally thought of that as sort of like an advertisement budget, right?
Okay.
It came from part of the marketing campaign.
Yeah. So, and that's gone now, and yeah, let's hope that with the feedback that everybody gave on the thing, they could do something good with it.
Yeah, but I think like. Does everyone not think that, the marketing department probably are quite stifled in what they do?
Probably.
Like, do they not think that by potentially people who are up top? Does no one know this or think this? Like,
I don't know. What
judging by what they say on Reddit?
What are you
What I'm saying is that there's this inherent, and I'm going to get on my bandwagon now as well.
Oh.
And like, I'm like... My wife used to work for ArenaNet. I know a lot of people at ArenaNet. A lot of them are my friends, and that's fine. But aside from that, is that somewhere towards the top, there's this idea that we're supposed to jump into a game and immediately tell our friends and sell it for them. And that's not the way the world works, boys and girls. It's not like that. People want to get excited and hyped about shit, and you want trailers and loads of stuff which is genuinely useful. Or we can't make them because we don't have access to any stuff. So it's like, I think it all spurns from that. Like if the general idea is that that's what you want from the top, say, if it's Mo's decision or whatever, with this quote that keeps coming up on Reddit at different posts that I read, where surprising and delighting people. That's not 2017, 2018. That's not the next 50 years. That's 1993. Do you know what I mean? When no one can, do alphas or betas or advertise anything because, they want, it's just all reliant on release and everything's hyped about release. And you literally reading reviews in magazines. You're not really watching video reviews or anything like that. That's
a simpler time.
Surprise. Yeah, but that's what I mean. That's so long ago, and then you've got now where you've got Twitch. Remember Red Dead Redemption, as an example last year, right? When they put out that 1.5-minute trailer for the game, which we haven't even got, I think, release date yet for. And how many people are on Twitch watching that? Like, Twitter blew up, fucking advertising everywhere. It was madness for this game, which wasn't even that popular. It was popular when it came out, but it wasn't like the biggest game in the world. And then all of a sudden it was. On this one day, it was like the biggest game because they teased stuff. They showed even just a tiny little trailer. It wasn't even any game footage. But it's just like people want hype and excitement. They don't want to wait and get in the game. That means they have to wait for the fucking patch. I don't want to. That's just not what people are like nowadays. They're impatient. They want. It's just the way we are. It's, you know,
we need content. We need content.
Exactly.
People we need content and we need it now.
Stuff. And I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying that you have to adjust your strategy to the way things are nowadays. And I don't think that is the marketing department for that. And I think, you know, even this tiny little thing is probably the only thing they're even allowed to do to push out the people. So I kind of feel bad for them that they can't do much more than that. Because I don't think it's them. I just think this is from above based on these different things, ideas and strategies coming from, you know, the people that are at the top. And that's, you know, I mean, I can disagree with that all day long, but if it works, then it works. But clearly it's not. I mean, the game is 5 years old. You can't rely on people jumping back into the game because they get an email. Do you know what I mean? It's just, you can't do that.
Yeah.
It's to go downhill.
This kind of makes me wonder how successful Wooden Potatoes video advertising contest was to actually bring people in, because that's kind of like the epitome of the tell your friends about it, right? It's the people who play the game all making videos to try to get other people into the game, and it'd be interesting to see how it actually worked out in the end. Like if it's significantly more or less than, well, obviously it's more than the investment that ArenaNet would put into that is much, much lower than they would in a big advertisement campaign.
Has someone won it though?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, go and have a look how many views that video's got, I guess. I don't know.
Well, it's certainly good, right?
I mean, it's a good thing.
And stuff like that is definitely good. And anything that raises the profile of the game is huge, right? It's a massive deal, and something on a grand scale like that is always going to help you. Like stuff like that, it's probably yes, the potato is doing our advertising for us. Excellent. Now we can spend more on mount skins instead.
The master plan has come to fruition.
Yes, it's all excellent.
Spend more.
It's all good. Skins. We get all that advertising. The Potato Man's doing it. We can just put that in mount skins now. And, there you go. No, you're still judging the winners. We would have heard about it, man. We would have heard about the winner of the contest otherwise. But
well, that's the thing. I mean, I don't know if anyone's won. So, you know.
It'd still be under judging. Yeah. I think there's a lot of videos.
There's probably a lot of videos you got to watch, keep track of. It's no easy task.
But that's the thing. I don't know, man. I mean, it's been like this for so long. Can you see it changing, really? I mean, now, when you don't know even what's happening, like, are they making a new... How long did we know after Heart of Thorns they were making a new expansion? I think it was quite soon after. I want to say 6 months. Do you remember?
I think there was hints of it pretty soon after. Basically, I think it was right when there was like that period of time. I think it was like 8 months maybe. There's that period of time. There's that period of time where we didn't really have much. It was just fixing things with Heart of Thorns.
Yeah.
And then there was like an announcement saying, "Look, this is what we're doing from now on. This is what we're planning on building. There's going to be a team working on an expansion while we're doing all this other stuff now." So I think that was like in May, and Heart of Thorns came out in like October or something like that. So yeah, 8 or 9 months.
So we go what? So like in the next 4 or 5 months, they'll probably tell us that there might be another expansion, maybe.
Yeah.
No, I think it's. I think there is already another. I think like that's definite already. Like that announcement was for going forward. This is how we're going to be structured from now on. We're having a live team and we're going to have an expansion team. The expansion team is going to continuously be working on new expansions, and then the live team is going to be continuously working on the live stuff.
did they talk about expansions or did they talk about the next expansion?
I think they specifically said the next expansion, but I assume I mean it is an assumption, but it's a
what's the assumption, Boots?
What is assumption is that it's going to continue like that because it was working.
No. What generally is assumption?
It is a
cover of all fuck-ups. No, right. You've never heard that phrase?
I have never. I've heard assumptions. Well, if you assume, it makes an ass out of you and me.
That's. I love that one. Heard that one. That is probably better. But that's the thing. I know what you mean. Like, but I'm pretty sure that they meant the next one.
Okay. The next so you expansion. Think that they're going to completely restructure again after Path of Fire?
I don't know if they're going to restructure. I mean, are they going to have another expansion?
Well, they have. What was it, like 120 people? Was it working on the expansion last time? There was an expansion team that was quite. I think it was 120 is what they said. So either that team disappears because there's no more expansions, or they get put somewhere else, so they have to restructure.
They make more content and live stuff, I guess. I don't know. Or they move them to something else. I don't know.
More likely, I think they're going to work on the next expansion because that's the more reliable thing to do. And yeah.
How long was Guild Wars 1 around for expansion wise?
Oh my goodness. When did
I don't know.
When did Eye of the North come out?
This is going to be a little bit more analytical, I think. This podcast.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
When did that come out? So that came out in 2007, and the original Guild Wars came out in 2005. So yeah, the last expansion was wow. They did that really fucking quickly. Holy shit! Damn, like Factions Nightfall and Eye of the North were really fast. And then they were gonna do another expansion, Guild Wars Utopia, but then they cancelled that and just did Guild Wars 2 instead. So
I think that 120 number might be way off. It might have been something like 30. It was like I forget exactly what it was, but
I mean, but still, they have cross people who will dip in and out of things, I guess. So it could have been about 120 people working on it at different times.
Either way, I think we can assert from this, not assume even, is that ArenaNet they've kind of solved their parallel development problems, right? So now we actually have things getting made more quickly and more efficiently because there wasn't the Clown Fiesta of Heart of Thorns release, right? Path of Fire release was not a Clown Fiesta. We already have content. We have fresh content that's already been added to the game. And, we've had a short break over the holidays, of course. And it will now resume. And yeah, I think it is pretty safe to assume that they are actually working on the next expansion as well. Because I'm pretty sure there will be one. I don't see why there won't be. Because I don't know. I think that even if the expansion doesn't sell that well, I'll tell you what will sell well, boys. It's mount skins. That's right. And you see, those griffins, guys, like that celestial griffin. That That's funding the next expansion. When you see that, just think of Canther, okay? Like, if it makes you mad, if you're like MMO Inks and if you're mad as fuck about the that mount adoption license.
Mo didn't say that's funding the next expansion though. He said that's funding the living story. He's saying if you want live updates, we got to fund it through.
But isn't that funding the company? That's funding.
It's funding the company. Of course, everything's funding the company, but it's also the funding development. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Like otherwise, they have to just sit still and wait. But it's all about man hours, right? And how many people hours. And how many hours because it's not just about what the actual thing costs, because it's all about paying the people because they're the creative people, obviously building the fucking thing in the first place. But it's like what is the content that's been added? Like, if think about the actual content that's been added since POF. Like, think about what's been added. Is it enough? Like, I'm asking the question. It's just a question. I'm not saying it's not or it is. But like, actually think about how much content has been added
since POF or including POF. Since well, they just had the one update. Besides the map, the festivals,
and
they had
the raid.
Yeah,
the map, and the raid, and the story.
The map,
that's not too bad.
Raid, story, but also that but there have been some other things where they reworked how some of the festivals work. Well, how both the festivals worked, right?
Yeah, so they were updated in a little bit.
But they've streamed the festivals. They have to be done one time, right? Oh, and a fractal as well. Don't forget that.
And the fractal
boys. The Twilight Oasis. That's a good fractal as well. So there has
and
been
a legendary.
Yeah, legendary as well. Although they should add that anyway, seeing as that's from HOT, right? Like,
yeah, probably.
So they don't have a choice. Like, even if they never sell another mount skin again, they still have to put those in the game. So I don't know. I don't know. Right, like
so I guess their one update, which was just on schedule, and we're still, I guess, on schedule for the next update, was a triple release. So that's something. People were complaining though that like raids didn't come sooner, and they didn't have to make it a triple release, but it was a decent amount of content for a single patch, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't agree with people saying that it should have been spaced out. It's just a difference of opinion. People were saying that, and I was like, well, if it's for different modes of the game and everything, because I remember reading posts about saying like, why did you put all of this stuff in one patch? And it's like, well, why the fuck not? I mean, it was the actual reason to not do it.
It only matters to a tiny percentage of the population, mostly the people who are interested in doing the doing the fractal and the raid, because it means that, well, it's like a very first world problem, right? But the people who want to do the raid want to finish the raid before they go on to do anything else, pretty much.
Yeah.
For example,
so then they want to.
Yeah.
But then they've got the stuff at the same time. But then again, that's like it's not impatience, is it? Is it impatience? I don't know. But it's like you say, but then they're torn and they're given options, and it's like, is it that bad? I don't know. I know what you mean though. That's why. Yeah.
That's why it is. I mean, I honestly, I don't really mind, because I knew the fractal didn't have a hard mode anyway, so it was kind of like So I knew there wouldn't be anything particularly.
It's good though. I played it.
Yeah, it's a good fractal. It is a good fractal.
But
yeah, I mean, obviously I went for the raid, dude. You got to go for the raid. Got to clear that raid.
That's what you do.
I
was like, I'm still on the first boss.
You got to
I'm still enjoying it. Yeah. So it's good. It is good.
It's a good raid wing. It's a good raid wing actually. Wing Hall of Chains is really good. Have you tried it yet, Boots? Actually,
I did the first boss halfway through.
Okay.
I did not go very far. No, I only had like an hour, and I had to leave. But yeah, we got it down to like 30% or something like that. It wasn't hard. It was just some people were dying to the walls.
It's a personal check.
Yeah.
I died to the walls a few times. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's a big it's like a big spatial awareness check, is what the whole fight is, and kind of a reaction time as well. Like because you got to with the flesh golems, right? You have to push them, and you can't cleave them as well. You got to be careful on that. So it's a really good boss.
We had a pro doing that though, so it was good.
Yeah. Pretty much, it does suffer from kind of a bit of Guild Wars 2 raid syndrome. Like if you got 2 good mesmers, 2 good druids, it's kind of job done.
It's done. Exactly.
All you have to do is then not
stand
in a wall.
Yeah, that's if 3/4 of your DPS don't die to a wall for no reason
whatsoever.
Yeah. So the first boss, it seemed like in just visually a bit of a clusterfuck, but I liked it. I did not do the rest of it though, so I'm still waiting to do that. I want to first nail down a build that I like using in raids. Like I was doing Virtue's Guardian, Virtue's Firebrand, and it was all right. It's all right. I like it, but I want to try something else. I don't know what yet though. Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. Oh, Jebro, you're gonna enjoy Doom so much, dude. Holy shit. I honestly can't wait to watch you do Doom, man.
We only played like 3 hours.
I'm gonna enjoy it, man. I'm gonna enjoy the suffering. I'm gonna enjoy the pain. Okay.
Who do you raid with?
we
Doom progression.
I play with Maven.
Oh yeah.
Casual. Like it's actually really good because I enjoy. Actually, raid nights are one of my favorite streams. Like no bullshit, because you get to play with like 9 other people and we have a laugh, and it's just killing the bosses for me is just like a second. It's an added thing. Obviously, I got legendary armor as well. Like I actually got it. Like I got it by raiding 3 hours a fucking week And okay, yeah, sure, I pugged sometimes, but that's not always going to be successful, is it? But like, I mean, I pugged probably like 10, 15 times maybe to get the legendary insights. But it took me, I think I started in like February, March last year, and I got it just before Christmas. So even like 2.5 to 3 hours a week, I actually got the legendary armor within a year. I mean, that sounds like it's a long time, but that's not much raiding.
I gotta do that.
It's easy. And if I can get it, and I'm mainly PvP, like pretty much anyone, like as long as you can get into some, but that's the problem, isn't it? Getting into a raid group to do it in the first place.
Yeah, and especially having a solid raid group like that is pretty useful. Like even if you don't do it that well, it's very useful because you're not intimidated by people or whatever, and you don't have to worry about getting kicked or forming a group. You just have it.
I actually think that Maven is probably one of the only. I mean, I don't know that for sure actually, but I think it's a very. There's not many guilds that would probably say, you know what, we've been doing this for a long time, maybe we should stop. Because we do have our days, like when we might just wipe on Veil Guardian for 40 minutes, and then we'll go to another raid, do the boss, which we've been trying to kill for weeks and weeks in one shot. It's just like, it's just silly. But it kind of makes it fun, I guess. But there's not many guilds, I think, that have that patience, which is
you
quite...
play Hollowsmith?
Good. Yeah, I actually quite enjoy it. It's more of like... Plus, I don't have to manage my heat that much, so it's fine. Whereas in PvP, I just overheat kind of a lot. But yeah, I mean, I think I hate playing the Condi build so much. I hated playing that fucking build. It was so annoying.
Yeah, you don't like the Condis? You like pure power, like raw power?
I've got a fucking hollow sword, man. What do you want? I'm gonna use the hollow sword.
Yeah, man.
Inks is here.
Inks is actually here. MMO Inks.
What's he not doing here?
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I think he hates us.
What's going on?
Inks hates us. He has a deep hatred for us, and it feels bad.
Well, I knew that, but I don't want to say anything.
So, to kind of tie these threads together, then to bring it all together.
Impossible. They're like here.
No. Trust me, I've got really long arms then. Okay, so how many content releases do you guys think there'll be before the expansion? Is it going to be the same? Is it going to be 6? Or wait, 6, right? For HOT.
I think I actually wrote into Hosts of Ascalon with this exact prediction. I don't know.
Prediction stream, guys. Prediction stream. Get that clip. Get the clip.
So I said, I mean, we talked. I actually got ragged on about this in the comments of one of the videos when we were talking to DeRoyer about this, and I said, "You don't think it's going to be 6?" And he said it was going to be 7, and I think I agree with him. I think it's going to be 7 releases this time around. And if you do it at a 2.5-3 month schedule, that'll bring us to late spring in 2019, and that'll be a good time to say, hey, we're gonna have a new expansion released at the usual time in the summer of Cantha. Yeah. It's gonna be Cantha, and I also have the title for it if you want it.
Oh, go.
City of Secrets. Guild Wars 2, City of Secrets.
That actually said, yeah, I can imagine that. I can see it. I can see it. Because Path of Fire is a little bit...
Heart of Thorns.
Heart of Thorns?
City of Secrets sounds a bit... I don't know.
I
like it.
It's mysterious.
I do like it. When
in
you
250
said it,
years also, probably that city has built up quite a bit. So let's say, what happens if like half of the island is covered in the city?
Whoa.
Then you gotta... Yeah, that'd be pretty good. Or weird. And also, you got the Empire, which is full of secrets, and you're going to go there trying to figure out the secrets of the Empire after you've left it go on for 200 years. Also, the underwater dragon is probably the dragon of secrets as well as water, just like Abaddon was the god of water as well as secrets. City of Secrets.
Okay, well, that's confirmed then. You've leaked that. You've officially leaked that now.
Yeah. Boots is
Done.
actually working for Arena.
Boots is he's like on the tree. You know how they bore the trees to get the rubber trees to get the rubber out.
I like to think of it more as a self-fulfilling prophecy because they're gonna watch this and you're gonna say, "Hey, that's a really good idea."
Yeah. And then they're gonna make it. Then they're just gonna make it happen. That makes a lot of sense.
What spam basic like chats should just spam titles now. Title for the next spec. Yeah. Do it. I don't know, but like I mean. You really think there's going to be another expansion?
Of course there's going to be another expansion. Yeah, of course there's
going to be another expansion.
Look, the reason why they're doing expansions is because it gives them an opportunity to create a marketing campaign for something. Because otherwise, it's just same old, month in, month out, right?
You get it for Fire, though, did they?
They didn't. I mean, they did have something. And in fact, I think that it's also a reason for people to come back to the game. It's a reason for people to... new people to check out a game, etc. It's expansions, besides being like a burst of content to keep veterans happy, is probably the best form of getting new people into the game and getting people who drop the game to come back. So they have to do it.
So what? But like, so Heart of Thorns wasn't so the main complaint, as far as I know as well, and even just my own personal playing through when I started and I played it. I mean, I remember the day of launch. I mean, I did like a 24-hour stream. It was pretty hype. Went and completed all the specializations, did the map, the story, and then other than the specializations now and the raid, not really touching it. Right? Not like the X pack is almost over there. Whereas, like, I've kind of taken bits of it, and that's personally me. I mean, I've read that it's the same for a lot of people. Do you think that they should probably fix what's wrong with the maps and everything else? And not in terms of like the looks and because the look of the map looks awesome. The map layout is cool. It was enjoyable to play, but there's no none of those big. And you guys have probably talked about this to death. Like those meta events and stuff, because I kind of like, even though Heart of Thorns, I hated the way some of the maps were laid out just because of that verticality stuff. Wow. That was always, I couldn't see where the fuck I was going. I didn't know where the fuck I was going most of the time. And, I'm a noob, whatever. But that's going to be the general player. And that's what this is Guild Wars 2. It's a casual game. And then they kind of went the other way where like Path of Fire is ridiculously flat, I guess, like in comparison to Heart of Thorns.
In comparison,
it's like crazy flat. But then they've gone the other way and it's not got that replayability that Heart of Thorns has, because you need to do the meta events to get the stuff for the legendary armor, for example, and a ton of other shit that you want to do. Even like the season maps, right? The episode maps have a lot of replayability because you can do you need to get like the ascended items, right? Like the earrings and stuff from one map. And then that kind of stuff as well. So it's like about what do they do? Do they go and make another expansion before fixing what's actually probably not going particularly well now for the expansion they've released?
Well, I don't know about that.
I don't know.
You see, fixing is a matter of perspective, and these maps do what they're supposed to do. Like these are supposed. Thing is, we are not the target audience, and you might consider that this sucks. Okay, maybe you think this sucks, but we are not the target audience for these maps. Especially
I agree with
me and you, Jeb, are not the target audience for these. Like you're a PvPer, and I'm a I play World vs. World in PvE, right? So the game for people, I mean, look, why do you think they added the aerodrome? I mean, at the end of the day, if you're a raider or you're a fractal enthusiast, dungeon enthusiast, like the entire map is basically a giant lobby waiting for you to get a group to do some of these activities, right? And that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, like the mist is the lobby for PvP, aerodrome is the lobby for raids, and like standing outside the portal in Lion's Arch.
You just can't queue for raids.
Right? You can't queue for raids. Yeah, exactly. But if people could, well, you can. You have the LFG, right, which is kind of like queuing for raids. You know what I mean? Like it's a bit like that. But at the end of
I feel low.
Yeah, well, where you just like boop, and here we go, right? But that's the trouble with having a lot of instance content like this, right? You end up, Inks, I'm actually hearing that Inks wants to join the call.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay. Is he disagree vehemently with the
I
things
think
we've been
Inks
saying?
is going to
or-
come and roast us or something. I think
Oh,
that's what's
no.
about to happen here. I think Inks is going to roast.
Hey, I'm confident that there's positivity in this.
All right, I'm
Inks
adding
has
Inks.
changed man.
I'm bringing Inks in.
I like how Inks is a changed man.
Yeah, and then you see this. Yeah, you see this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here comes MMO Inks, boys. We're bringing him in. But anyway, the maps as they are, they're kind of. Oh,
Hey, there he
MMO
is.
Inks, boys.
The
Now,
man, the legend.
my overlay is completely ruined. I have to rearrange everything.
Maybe I should change my Skype profile there. That finger picture.
That was quite funny.
Maybe a little off-putting.
I think it's good.
Like more positive and all this kind of stuff, and then it was like your picture just came up. I was like, that's not Inks now.
Just don't forget to change it before like talking to prospective clients with it or something.
That might not be good. But anyway, the thing is, I think for pretty much everyone, for the market that these maps are actually aimed at, they probably are very much fit for purpose, right? Like, think how long. So suppose you, I mean, for example, Jebro only raids for a few hours a week, right? And like, for me, like Hall of Chains lasted like 2 days, and we did it right. But because of we like nuked, we dumped hours into it, right, to get it done, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you're a casual player and you only play an hour a day here and there, think how long it would take you to get through all of Path of Fire, right? All of Path of Fire maps. And in fairness,
Long time.
the Domain of Istan is a kind of a farmy, grindy map, right? So they've put in something else. They are willing to improve stuff and change it to how they want it to be. So like, the maps themselves don't need to be fixed, in my opinion. I don't think they need to be fixed at all, even. But the thing is, they aren't targeted at... They're not supposed to be replayable. They're not supposed to be like that. Because what did the casual community think about HOT? They thought it was a cancerous grindfest. And honestly, they're not exactly wrong either. I mean, so... They're not... Yeah, I mean, Guild Wars 2 is inherently kind of grindy already, right? Like, it's daily fractals. Back when daily dungeons, like weekly
daily
raids.
everything.
Daily everything,
like daily
mate. Yeah.
maps and like shit. Like when I was looking at the dailies the other day on the stream, and I was like, I want to do achievements, and then I was like, it's gonna take me all stream to do the dailies, and I was like, no, I'm not doing this. And I was like, no, but I don't know, man. It's like the thing is with those maps, it's like wasn't like one of their core things that they were always saying is that they want maps to be replayable. Like, didn't they go back with, like, the early season 1, 2 stuff, and they actually inserted events and episodes and story? I mean, changing maps completely. Maybe I think that actual plan is good. I actually think, like, when they changed the maps that were out for so long, like, it's not Kessex Hills, is it? One of the human regions where they had the Nightmare Court and all that kind of stuff going on. Like, that map completely changed, right? And it was just sick. It was like a little mini cataclysm from WoW. And I was like, okay, that's cool. Like, why don't they going up to some, story that's coming up, like completely change the zones, even if it's just for a bit? I don't know. I think that they're so open to that kind of stuff to happen. But I mean, they did do that before. That was what they kind of said.
The reason why they want to stop doing that though is because I think actually this was said recently on an MMA as well, is that it was a lot of time investment into something that's not permanent, or if it is permanent, it's a lot of time investment into replacing something that was already permanent. So it's basically for everything you put in, you lose an equal amount. So it's a bad investment for the company.
It's just man hours, I think, though. Isn't it less man hours, surely, to, like, if you've got the map, you've got the base there, right? You kind of just have to decorate it. You just kind of have to put... I mean, I don't know anything about that kind of thing, but, like, surely, like, when you make the base of a map, like, you have to have that whole design. You've already got the data and the layout. I don't know.
There's a lot of intricacy to it, too. Like, I mean, the reason why we were supposing a long time ago that the legendary weapon collection achievements were hard to put together, and that's why legendary weapons were taking a long time to put out, was because every time they changed things. Oh, wait, sorry. No, it was because they had to have stuff that would never be changed. Because every time they change things with the living world, they change possibly things that affect collection achievements, affect other things, and it's the world's big and very complicated.
So that's why they stopped that. Well, are you talking about
so.
just generally? Are you talking about philosophically there? Booty's coming up. I saw Inks shaking his head, man.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Shaking his head.
All right, let's go. Inks.
Well, I mean, first of all, it's going to be 7 episodes. Boom, easy, confirmed, done.
Yay!
City of Secrets or whatever you're calling it. Sure, why the hell not? Sounds good. It'll be another $30 expansion with $25 whatever sailboats or whatever they give us next.
1 mount or 2 mounts?
Sailboats.
What?
Skins.
One
mount or 2
mounts?
mounts?
Oh,
What?
Like we're gonna get a sea turtle probably.
Whatever. Who cares? It'll be $25.
Wait a minute. I was just literally saying Inks is coming on. He's got positive mental attitude, all this kind of stuff. And
Well, I mean, that's not really negativity. It's just realism. It's just reality. I mean, it's what's going to happen.
Are you jaded with the? Is everyone like? How do you guys feel about the game? Like, just be honest. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I mean, you know, they're not going to be pissed off at us for saying how we feel about the game. But generally,
I'm bored. I'm bored.
You're bored.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. The other day I was playing and.
Sorry, Matt. I'm like asking.
I had to do. I had to do a repeatable heart. I was just like, I am so tired of hearts. I'm done. I'm tired of 5 years of hearts and repeatable hearts, which I used to think was a good thing. I don't want to do it. Like, just let me complete it so I can never have to look at it again. I don't know.
I feel the same about that.
I don't know. Like, maybe they're just not. And I don't even have a good solution. Like, I don't know how to make a heart exciting, but it's just like. You know, I was editing through my story the other day, and there's a part in the story where you have to, you know, to make the story feel fuller and longer, they make you do open world stuff, collect all these parts to make a grog, and prove your anti-Joko by turning some telescopes and activating some mirrors. Anti-Joko.
How did you feel when that happened? When you knew you had to go out of the story into a map?
I hated it. I even said like, I just want to play the story. I don't want to do this. I need to find out what's going on with Timey. I need to save her.
How many people in chat as well went sigh? Like they got they just had a massive sigh. Like they had to. Was it a good thing that people? Because I'm genuinely interested because I do play everything in the game. Like you guys know that I raid and I PvP and I sometimes roam around in world, not as much else, but I just generally get interested about if people feel the same as I do, because I don't go on the forums and Reddit that much other than PvP. Like I don't genuinely go because I actually think that a lot of these places are just the same people talking the same shit all the time, and it's boring. It's like, you know, I would rather watch a video about it. But like, how do people think about that kind of thing? Like, does it make people want to explore the map in a better way that they can show off the stuff that they have created? Is it a way of guiding people like that? Is it just like sigh? I just want to play an RPG for a bit where I can just play through, like maybe in an order that is just there in front of me, and I can just go point to point to point to point rather than exploring a map. Well, I don't know. I mean,
I think it certainly leaves you wanting more a lot of the time, right? The way the story is delivered, right? You kind of, now I have to go do a heart. Now I have to wait 3 months for the next episode. But no, I think that's harsh. I think this is coming from a very, if we can kind of zoom it back, and this is a very jaded perspective. I think. I think if you do it in moderation and you don't grind out every day, then no, I don't think hearts are really bad. I don't actually really get the hate for them. It's just like normal quests, really.
I don't hate them. They're just.
It's just an opinion, isn't it?
You're not wrong. It's a totally jaded, biased opinion. It's 5 years of doing hearts, and they haven't really evolved or changed or gotten better or more exciting. I don't even know how to make them more exciting, to be quite honest. But they're just mundane. And I understand from a design perspective why you would want to make that part of the story. It fills the story out. It's filler. And it makes you take, an extra 20 minutes of maybe a 30 or 45-minute story, like if you're rushing through. If you're playing slowly like me and you're streaming it, you could really stretch that to 2 hours almost. And you think, 2 hour story, that's amazing. But it's not really a 2 hour story because I'm running around spinning telescopes and talking to whoever and looking at heart rewards and so forth, right? It does do a good job of like leading you around the map and making you explore a little bit. And hopefully you get sidetracked or distracted and do a mount race or something.
Yeah.
But there's definitely some points where I'm getting into the story where ArenaNet is doing a good job building up that next moment. And I'm like, I want to go save whatever the dude's name was. I don't even remember now. I want to go save this guy. But first, I got to collect a bunch of grog.
Yeah. I'm literally the same. Literally.
So it depends on the story. It depends on the moment. I know why it's there from a design perspective. It just doesn't always feel very good. It generally feels a little bit boring. And repeatable hearts, again, I get it, right? The idea is come back to the map, do the heart again the next day, get this, build up to this reward, long-term rewards. I get it, but I just don't love it.
Yeah.
But like, I remember playing, I mean, how long has it been since you guys played like the core game from the start?
The core game?
Oh.
I'm doing this.
No. This is I actually think this. I have to say that this entire kind of thrust, I think, is kind of a bit. It's kind of a bit dishonest to a certain extent. It's a bit disingenuous. I think it is very, very jaded. Because think about it, like, what's the content? I mean, why would the content I really like is organized, anything organized really. So I can't get that in an open world map, and that's fine. So I want to do my raids. I want to do my fractals. I want to do my world versus world with my group, right? Like Jebro, you want a PvP. You want to do because you like that game mode. You like PvP. You like raids. You do world versus world. Like, why does everything have to be good for everyone?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't have to be.
But, I mean,
it doesn't have to be good for everyone. But like, in terms of, I mean, I always think about it as, I think outside myself by thinking about other people. Like Inks has said about how he's kind of, I mean, what do you need to build anything? To build anything in the world, if you think about a house, for God's sake, you need a good foundation. You need a solid foundation that is going to always remain. You don't want it to crumble because everything else will just fall apart, And so that base is us. Like it's all of us. It's everyone in chat. It's people who have been playing the game for ages. And if they are so reliant upon their campaign, their marketing campaign, which is literally tell your friends how good the game is. And I'm not saying they have to pitch. We are not, like you said, what you said earlier is very true. We are not their main core player base, but in a way we represent a lot of those different people. Like Matt, you represent raiding guys and like World v World crew. Boots, I'm not sure how much Boots is playing the game at the moment, but I
play the game, come on.
But he represents like a casual audience that is Guild Wars 2. I'm not, but you come
Frost is gonna love that. Thanks a lot, Jebro.
I'm not saying you don't play the game. I'm just saying like you don't play it. Maybe Matt plays for a lot of hours a day. Inks plays less than that, but he still plays the game quite a lot. Like, I play the game. I only play the game when I stream. So I don't play it every day. There's different levels, and that is the audience of Guild Wars 2. There are different levels in Guild Wars 2, but mainly it's a more casual game and a casual audience. But the thing is that if people dip in and dip out, how do you keep building that player base, the crowd that are actually buying the game, that are playing the expansions and selling it to other people? Because if they get jaded, and it's just obvious, it's what happens after 5 years. Like you start to want different things, you want different mechanics, you want different content. And I'm not saying it's bad. Like I don't want you to think I'm being negative, because I play PvP. I've literally had the same maps for 5 years, and the new one's not good. And I still love the game. Like
for me, with the new expansion, the mounts was the big sell. For me, like obviously, I also want to continue the storyline and get new maps and explore new things and touch back on old Guild Wars 1. But yeah, the mounts were like what really made the expansion good for me. It's because it exactly in the same thread as what you're saying. It changed the game in a lot of ways, the PvE game anyway, because it really changed. It changes everything.
I'm not trying to. I'm not being. I hope you don't think I'm being negative, because all it is.
Well, no, I just think it's actually. I think it's kind of on. It's not. It's kind of it's a nothing. I feel like it's kind of a cotton wool statement, really, because because I think the maps I think are actually still fine. I mean, like you can see people doing people are doing world boss trains. I used to for about a year's time I did Tequaddle and Triple Trouble every single day, man. Like every world boss every day, and honestly, I had fun doing that, man. I like that. The reason I stopped was because other stuff came along. Honestly, like I was like, I'm going to do this instead, and I started doing the new maps, but. The new maps still get done. The old maps still get done. Like, people still do world bosses. People do Garen. People do Octovine. People do Dragon's Den. Like, these are very popular. There's still, like, 2 or 3 maps for Garen that fill up all the time. There's loads of Octovines. Like, it's not... I don't think it's fair to say that these maps are abandoned and kind of dead. It's just not the case. I think they're still there a lot. I mean, like Silverwaste people still do Silverwaste. People farm the fuck out.
Do you think that's a conscious? Do you think that's a conscious choice by ArenaNet though? Like that they didn't put as many. They didn't put as many like really grindy farmy things in Path of Fire because 100%. They already have it in Heart of Thorns, so you have a balance.
Yeah, 100%. Unfortunately, I think they missed the mark a little bit with Path of Fire maps as far as replayability. And this is also true for Season 3 maps, generally speaking. Replayability is kind of poor, unfortunately. There are things they can do, of course, even in old maps or old events to make those things better. You're talking about world bosses and Triple Trouble and so forth. If you refresh those rewards a little bit, if you change them up, add a little bit more incentive, people will go back and do. I mean, people are still doing them anyway, but more people will go back and do those things if you freshen that stuff up. And for me, Path of Fire, and perhaps this is a bit unfair because I don't fully understand their workflow and how much it takes to produce one of these things, but I would have liked to see a Triple Trouble in Path of Fire, in one Triple Trouble in all of Path of Fire somewhere. I would have liked to see 2 career events somewhere in Path of Fire. And we have those on smaller scales, but they're not as well designed as far as reward placement and stuff as well. Do you know what I mean? And we can see evidence of an improvement in this with Istan, where you have Joko Land and you run around collecting chests and doing whatever. People like that sort of thing. You know, is it exciting and difficult? No, it's not, but it's not meant to be. It's meant to be an extra farm for extra materials that feels rewarding, that feels so people can do it on a timer, come back every 2 hours or something like that and do that. People love Silver Wastes because of the amount of money it generates, not because Silver Waste is exciting or anything like that. And Path of Fire lacks that sort of come back to me kind of vibe. Yeah. So do the Season 3 maps.
I mean,
doing that in every map is really difficult, but...
That'd be pretty good, actually. Season 4, Episode 7, a map where, because of the fact that we can't kill Karl Katoric, we put him back to sleep as a meta event every 2 hours or something like that.
Well, that's it. I mean, it's not like, for example...
Keeps waking up.
Exactly. Oh, no, not again!
But like the events in those maps though, like the first event where you kind of go into the first town, I can't remember what it's called, in Path of Fire. I just walked through it, and literally there was that Choya event, right? Like I prefer those events. Like you might miss one. Like none of us have done all of them, have we? Can you say you've done all the different events in Guild Wars 2? I don't know.
I've done a lot, but I haven't done all of them.
And it's like I mean, me maybe even less, but like I'm still walking around now, and there'll be a random event. Like I think that is genuinely like the way they should be doing things a little bit more. But obviously, then you have to you have to create all these different crazy events, and you still need hearts, and you still need people to be on the map for the reasons that they need to be on them. I actually think genuinely there might be content like a lot of us haven't even seen because we don't want to go back because there's no reason. So you might miss one of these events. Like I was streaming the other day and I was like, what the fuck is this event? Like I've never seen it. I think it's in core games somewhere. And I remember starting the core game and just thinking, you know, these events are fucking sick. Like this reminds me of like back in the day, Warhammer Online, like the random events that would pop up, or Rift, when you had the random Rift and it would just be there and it'd just be like, shit, everything's changing. I've got to think about how I'm going to play this.
That does make me think, actually. That makes me think because they had 7 years or something that they were working on Guild Wars 2 before the original core game released. And I don't doubt that there's probably like a couple events that none of us have ever seen because there's some sort of weird trigger mechanism that nobody's ever done before. There's probably
doesn't work.
Yeah, and there's layers on the core maps. There's layers upon layers of events everywhere, and I'm sure they're trying to reproduce that for all the new maps that are coming out for the Living World and for the expansions. But I don't know how easy it is to reproduce it in that level of detail as they had. Especially with the shorter time.
Here's the other thing too. Something I want to see in episode 2. I want to see a meta event that ends in a boss. Bitter Frost could have had that if they just added a boss to Bitter Frost. You know, we have Joko Land for that Silver Waste type farm. You run around collecting stuff. You're doing mini events. Awesome. People will come back and keep doing that. In the odd hour, because it's every other hour. So in the odd hour, in Season 2's map, boom, you put a boss up there for somebody to come kill, farm, whatever. And that way, you know, you're offsetting different reasons to go to different maps. And somebody else pointed out, too, one of the problems with Path of Fire is, and this adds to bloat, which is a concern and a problem, which is probably why ArenaNet did away with it. But when you don't have unique individual currencies for each map, there's less of a reason to go to those maps because players will find the easiest map to farm said currency and just stay there and never move. Yeah. So without unique rewards with unique currencies, it's hard to pull people along into a new map and keep them there.
Yeah. I mean, that is an issue that they always have to think about. The fact that they're releasing new maps so often now with each Living World episode and like 4+ with each expansion makes you think if they're trying to, well, they're obviously trying to think of what they could do to make each map interesting in its own respect, but also are they worried now, especially now, about splitting up the player base this much?
I think it's
I think in a lot of ways it actually benefits them. You want the players to be interested in Path of Fire and the new maps.
So would be hyped. But
like, don't get me wrong. Like, if you feel for some reason that the old maps are getting too thin, then you refresh the rewards in the old maps. Now, coming up with those rewards might be difficult. Don't get me wrong. That's manpower and resources. But there is a way to refresh those old maps. We've seen other MMOs that do that to different varying levels of success. But
they did it. They did do it. But they just didn't continue it. Like, I think that if they just continue doing something like that a little bit, like, I mean, they've mixed it up. I think they did do it, but...
Well, do you remember several years ago when they did the Champion Box overhaul? And they added a bunch of, I forget how many skins it was, but they added a bunch of new skins to those Champion Boxes.
Yeah.
That's all people farmed. They were like, forget whatever else is going on, I'm farming champions, and they found the best place to farm champions. So doing overhauls like that work, they do get players back.
That's true. Oh, you mean like smaller things? Okay, right, yeah.
But do they need to do that?
Well, they need to do that only if they feel like the old world is getting a bit stagnant or getting a bit, unpopulated.
I don't know. I guess, do they care about that anymore is my question. Like, do they care if there's only 5 people on Queensdale? Because at this point, there probably is 5 people on Queensdale or something like Harathi Hinterlands or something.
Actually, go and make a new character now. If you go and make a new character now, I actually did this the other day. I was just literally wanted to see, because I have my Ellie, who is like a non-ed, massive, big, fat Ellie.
A big boy.
And I was just like, I put all my like crystalline dust and all that shit on him, right? Because I've got no space. And I logged in, and there was like 10, 20 people running around. just literally in the where you literally start. You know, when you've got that flesh, the worm.
Like the starting point. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, you're right. You know, to a degree, that there's always going to be people running around there, but there's definitely more people starting off. But this was at like 3 a.m. Pacific. So this was.
But this is the thing. Like, I feel like we are to a certain extent misrepresenting what's actually going on here. I don't think these problems we're talking about are problems, right? Because people, they're everywhere. Like the casuals, dude, they're everywhere. They're going crazy. And seriously, with map completion, we never go back to the old maps. But that's not the point, right? I mean, I've done map completion 5 times now. I think actually, honestly, I had fun doing it as well. I quite like map completion. I think it's a fun little journey to go on. But that's what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be map complete, again and again and again. Like, map completion is there as a journey for your character to encounter all these things and like help. All these various communities, right, and like solve all these problems. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it's for. It's not. Yeah. It's not like a fairground attraction where you go around and round and round. It's a linear journey that you go through. Well, not exactly linear because you can pick what maps to go to, but it's a journey that your character goes through, and I think that's what Path of Fire is, right? Like, that's what Path of Fire is as well. Like, you go through these maps and you encounter all these characters and challenges and mastery points and stuff like that. That's not what HOT was. HOT was very much a fairground, like you go round and round and round. But Path of Fire and the core game are not like that. They're an individual journey for the character, I think, and that's what they're supposed to be.
I think they're,
and also there are bosses in these maps as well. Like in Istan, there's you fight Amala, right? In the Great Hall,
right,
and that's a good boss because it's also all the bosses in all these maps are actually kind of cool. They have like weird. They might be a bit face roll, but it's open world, guys. Come on, man. What's gonna be fucking face roll? But it's a tie-in, right? Because she's in the fractal, right? In the fractal, you play as the undead, and you turn her into an undead, which is a really nice tie-in to the new map as well. So that's really well done by ArenaNet. So I kind of think we're just. We're complaining about stuff that's a problem to us, but it's really not a problem to the player base at large, really.
I don't know if it's complaining.
I don't think it's a problem at all.
It's more of like, it's not complaining. It's more of like questions. Like, is the game, like, where do we think the game is? Because the thing is with me is that complaining is one thing, but I like to ask questions more, because it's more like, okay, I'm a little bit disappointed with this. I am not going to be the only person who's disappointed with this. There will be other people. But, like, how much does my opinion matter about this? And are other people legitimately thinking this thing as well? So then it's like gauging, like, the future and whether or not you think that it's good or bad or whatever. So it's, I don't know. I'm not. And like you said as well, I play mainly PvP. So for anyone, like, the Path of Fire content is perfect for me. Like, it's just like I can play through it. But when I walk into the map like I am now, I'm just in a small town somewhere, I'm like, this map looks so fucking good. Like, it's like these maps in Path of Fire are some of the best looking maps in the game. And I want to go back there. And it's just like, I just want a reason to do it.
But the reason to do it, but you don't do map complete. All right, so you don't.
I can't do map complete.
Yeah, but you don't you don't do map completion. It's a different kind of reward, though. So you don't do map completion for money, right? You don't do it to get gold. No. You do it because. It's the adventure, right? Like, the reward of open world stuff is the adventure. Like, there are players who really don't care about the rewards, and that's why they do a lot of the open world stuff, because they're there to explore and see what the map has to offer, and like look at the pretty graphics, right? And just randomly encounter these events, right? That's what you do, man. Like, that's why you do that stuff.
No, yeah, I agree. But
like one of my
that's not really what I'm talking about, I guess.
The best experience I had in Path of Fire probably was doing the Dwarven weapons up in the Harathian hinterland, not Harathian, the Highlands, Desert Highlands, and that would probably be. I guess I'm kind of understanding what Jebro's saying, because
I think Matt is a beautiful person, and his thoughts and his how he wants to enjoy the game. But I actually think, and like, Man, you're a dude, man. I think that the way you like the game in that way is very awesome. I just don't think people want that. I actually genuinely think that.
I think
like,
I want
people.
that. I want. That
I think the
as
more
well,
casual player. I think the more casual player is like that though.
You're right though, but like I literally go into chat and then I was reading, and again, like maybe the chat isn't representative of the game.
No, dude, my chat. Are you kidding me? Like
I know, but
I gotta agree with Teapot here though. I gotta agree with Teapot is that if you are more casual like me or like my wife, you look at a game like Path of Fire, at the expansion like Path of Fire, and she also got a Heart of Thorns, and she did a lot of Heart of Thorns, but it was a lot. There's a lot to do in Heart of Thorns, and because of that, she would look at it and say, "There's no way in my lifetime I will do this." So you kind of get put off by that. But with Path of Fire, it's attainable. You're more into it because you're like, "Oh, I can check that off. I did this. I did that. I'm almost done." Mm-hmm. So I think those people exist.
Can I ask you a question then about what maybe your wife specifically or you? And this is the kind of information I want to know, because I'm literally asking questions. Like I don't actually genuinely think one thing is bad or one thing is good. I just like to ask the question and it's like, okay, when you've got, and I've always championed the casual player. I've always said that Guild Wars 2 is a very, very casual game. And I even moan about it on my stream. Like, I always get pissed off that people whine and complain about different things in raids and everything else. Because I'm like, this game isn't for you. Just fuck off. And then I'm just like, I have anyone who says that. Like, I literally said that on my stream. I'm just like, this is not a hardcore game. Like, you can be hardcore and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And people, that's how communities evolve, around that kind of, that hardcore content as well as more casual content. And you need that kind of separation. It's good. And it's what, makes games evolve, just in the community. But I think at the same time, it's like, I always wonder who is spending the money and who is staying in the game. Because then, okay, Guild Wars 2 can be a casual game. You can play it once or twice a month, but they've bought the expansion. Is that enough for the future? Do you know what I mean? And that's why I wonder. And it's just a question. It's not an opinion of whether or not I believe that they're doing something wrong or right. It's just something I genuinely want to know. Is your wife buying stuff off the gem store, for example? I'm not, when I say your wife, I'm saying more of like the casual base.
I think the casual base is more likely to buy some stuff off the gem store than the hardcore base, because the hardcore base will work for their stuff and will grind their stuff and
what can you earn
gold and convert it to gems.
You can earn gold making the gems.
Exactly.
That's true. Yes.
My wife, I think, is probably a lot like Boots's wife in that she's very casual player. She really likes POF, hated Heart of Thorns, hated it with a passion, literally like quit and just never went back.
She never went back to see. Wow.
She won't go back into the Heart of Thorns map. She hates them. A lot of that has to do with she's terrible at gliding. But
I'm with you there. Don't worry.
But she likes the Path of Fire maps. Now the Path of Fire maps are kind of desolate for the most part. That some areas not so much, but they can be kind of desolate. Well,
I've just the first main map
in more than one way. But she's also the type of player, if she sees something cute on the gem store, she will totally just buy it outright.
Oh, that's good.
Now, for example, with RNG mounts, she likes a couple of the RNG mounts. Where I'm cynical and won't buy into that, she will totally go and farm gold for 2 or 3 months to then buy. She won't spend real money on it, but she will spend, she will grind out 100 gold or 200 gold, buy the gems, and then see which RNG mount she gets.
That's good then.
Unfortunately for ArenaNet, she got the Fire Raptor 2 mounts in, and now she doesn't care about any of the other mounts. But
she did play the game like probably more than she may have if she didn't have that thing to go for, right?
Right. But she's also the same type of player that, a week after the story comes out and she plays through the story, she's gone. She's off playing something else. She's no longer paying attention to the gem store and the game and whatever. So 2 months, less than 2 months after Path of Fire launches, she's only coming back for the story to play it one time doesn't care about the achievements, maybe spends a little bit of money in the gem store, and then goes off to play whatever she was playing before. So is that a good thing? I don't know.
That's the thing. I mean, that's why I'm asking these questions. Like, that's why I don't want you guys to think I'm like jaded or anything else, because it's more of, I just want to know. Like, I would love to know.
I think the answer for you is that there are a lot of different kinds of people. And
no, it's not. That's not the question. That's something I've known probably more than most people since the start of this game, since being involved in like, you know, World v World from the start, and then going to PvP and playing raids and PvE and just talking to people and having like even our own communities. Like, we probably know that more than ever, like, you know, than a lot of people, because we manage these communities in a way where we have a Discord, we have a YouTube channel, we have a stream, we have, you know, our bad builds and whatnot. We know when things like that can be popular and good. But like, it's not even like I kind of know, but I want to know whether or not, you know, being that casual in a game can be that lucrative for ArenaNet, and if that's a good thing for them. Like, it's just literally curiosity. And I think, you know, Inks says like what he says about his wife, and he says that, okay, even if she doesn't spend money on the gem store, she's still going to be playing the game for months just to grind out the gold.
I think it's anything we could answer for you here is just anecdotal evidence, and like it's just like, my friend does this, my friend does this, and there's no way to get it. But I think that ArenaNet has those numbers, and they'd be able to tell you, given they have a hell of a lot of data, I'm sure, on this exact topic, and they're probably making the decisions based off that.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it's again, it's not like I need to know numbers. It's more like it's just general opinions. Like I can like about the general opinions of people, and like whether or not they enjoy doing it like that. I mean, Kitten Fury? I remember she talking about like she grinded all the mounts out on Twitter, like she was mentioning about with gold.
All the adoption licenses, all of them.
Yeah, she won like one. It's like I give them away on my stream. That's what I do for giveaways, because I'm like, probably one of the things people want the most are mount licenses, right? Because but they don't want to pay for them, and they might not want to spend the time on gold. So that is actually one of the main giveaways I do. And always it's like, you know, there's so much interest. It's like, what did you get? And if they get something shit, then we troll them about it, or they laugh about it, and we all cry together. And then it's like, they still do that. So it is actually quite nice to know that there are people like him, like Inks' wife, who do that kind of thing. And I don't know, like in
some ways, ArenaNet has it good with people like my wife, because there's very little reward in the, you know, she has ascended weapon, she has ascended armor, she doesn't care about the meta, she plays basically the same build. Soul Beast came in and she changed it up, so she plays Soul Beast now. But you know, aesthetic-wise, which is a very big part of Guild Wars 2, she just waits for the next cute outfit, because the armor in the game looks atrocious to her.
Yeah.
And the weapon skins are hit and miss. Sometimes she'll like it, sometimes she won't. But she made one legendary one time, she'll never do it again. So, you know, she has her ascended armor, she has her ascended weapons after 5 years or whatever. And now she's just like, oh, that outfit's cute. I guess I'll spend 700. You know, she'll actually pay ArenaNet 700 gems once in a blue moon. But I guess if there's enough of those people, that's profitable, right?
But then what do you do about like World v World and PvP people is the other thing I wonder about.
And
I know.
World versus World. I've talked to a lot of people this. World versus World is the most casual game mode. Aside from the open world, then World versus World is the most casual.
Really?
Game mode. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because it is.
Is that just your current opinion, or has it always been your opinion?
That I pretty much. Yes. It is the most of the 3 game modes that we're referring to. PvE, and when I say PvE, I don't mean I don't mean open world. Right? That's not really what that means. I mean fractals and raiding and dungeons. Right? World versus World is in World versus World. PvP is in PvP. World versus World is the most casual by far. Like, it is inherently casual, in fact. Like, you can just rock up and just run around with absolutely no setup whatsoever. Like, you can just rock up and do it. It's incredibly easy to get into.
Is this coming from some sort of...
What? No.
Illustration,
I mean, yes, but also, yeah. But I mean, yes, but also no. I mean, I just think about it. It is by far the most casual game mode. Anyone can just rock up, and it's easy as well. Like all you just like smack on a door and cap stuff, right? You just you just cast your abilities on the enemies, right? Like, and you can feel like you're doing something, right? Like you can, yeah. Exactly, right. You can even if you've got the crappiest gear ever, if you're in like rare random gear, like you can still smash people in World versus World, right? Because if you've got more of you than of them, then you probably win anyway, right? But exactly, it is a game mode that inherently removes any kind of accountability. Like this is this is something that appropriate from how salty I am right now, but it is a game mode that you cannot say, right, you're fucking trash, But anyway, that's good.
They could change that quite easily. Just any of the loot that's on your body, they can loot.
So like, in World vs World, there's plenty of casuals. There's plenty of casuals in World vs World. And people in PvP. I don't know.
There are plenty of people.
There are plenty of casuals in PvP, right? Like people just hop in, like do a custom arena, like mess around, like do a couple of unranked and blah blah blah. It's casual stuff, right?
Well, they just go for ranked, mate. They don't even go for unranked.
There's casuals everywhere. There's casuals everywhere, right? People are casual in every game mode, and then you have raids. There are plenty of casual raiders. Like every game mode is casual in this game, and. GVG, guys, GVG, like, right, GVG is not a game mode, right?
Isn't GVG like
not a game mode.
At the moment, there's like a couple of guilds on each region, isn't there? I mean, it's pretty much dead, isn't it? Really? Doesn't really
bringing
exist.
It back, I hear they're bringing it back. Wasn't there a ArenaNet post saying GVG is there's something they're looking into?
In PvP, yeah.
In PvP, yeah. So it would be using PvP.
UI breaks when it goes above 10 people, apparently.
I will say, though, that, like, for World vs. World, if you are part of a World vs. World guild, that's one of the stronger communities that you can have in the game, though. As far as logging in and socializing.
I mean, it must be pretty good. I mean, it has to be, especially if it still exists. Right, I mean, with the amount of lack of,
Sure, don't get me wrong. There's plenty that have dissolved and left and moved on and collapsed and whatever. But
those guilds go from game to game, right? I mean, they go from
sometimes.
I did.
Sometimes, but it's the social aspect that happens in World vs. World as a large group that keeps those players logging in night after night with literally almost no support from the game itself.
They're not playing it.
Last year was a little bit better because they had a reward rework, which was really nice, and some other stuff. But the World vs. World community since 2012, those who are still playing, it's very much because of the guilds and the friends that they make and the people that they talk to every night. And in PvE, you might have that in like a teapot situation, but for the more casual player, that's less and less existent, I think.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Nice to join.
So we kind of spent an hour or so not doing what this tea time was supposed to be about, I think. Weren't we supposed to do a predictions tea time?
This is supposed to be a prediction stream, but it's more like...
I don't know. You didn't tell me that.
I did. I said in the future. I said we were talking about the future. I said you on Discord, man. I pinged you on Discord.
Wait,
all he did was ask leading questions about the state of the game.
But that insinuated Saul. I'm sure it did.
No, I mean, Salt is fine. I mean, I don't mind about Salt. I mean, but we have talked about where the game is going. We're talking about where the game is going, like what's going on. Like I think we have done that. Like the prediction stream.
We've done the foundation.
We've done the prediction stream as well. Like Boots has leaked to the expansion. And,
there you go. All right, sorry. What did you want to know? What did you actually want to know and actually talk about?
Well, with regards to prediction, like the prediction I would ask you is obviously about PvP. Like, what do you think the future of PvP? What changes would you predict to PvP going into 2018?
I'm scared.
Oh, no.
I'm scared. You're scared. I'm scared. Okay, so judging completely off the forums, Ben, who is one of the devs, he did a good job. I think we all read. Well, this is where Boots got his Guild v Guild information from as well. It was actually on the PvP forums, and it was about the different maps they're creating and new 2v2 maps, and also talking about ATs and bringing in things like Stronghold. Like when I was last here with Roy, we talked about this a bit. So I'm not going to repeat myself too much from that. But there was basically all this information about how they're going to put in all this different stuff. And they were talking about how automated tournaments were going to be bringing in things like not just Conquest, but they were changing also Conquest to ATs to like more of a Swiss mode so that people had more reason to stick around, because you wouldn't just play one game, you'd play like a handful of games. If you had 16 teams, you might play at the top or the, surrounding 4 teams in where you are in that Swiss kind of setup, and then it would go into a bracket, and then they change the finals to a best of 3 at the very least. I think they should do that with semi-finals as well, in my opinion. I don't know if they'll do that, but then obviously that will be a lot more content for PvPers and actual casual PvPers to play as well, which is good. And then they were talking about GVG. They were talking about something about bringing in a 15 versus 15, but that's where they talked about how the UI would basically kind of breaks a bit when you get above 10 people, because you could have 10 people in PvP before. So yeah, I mean, Inks' face when that happened.
15 seems like not
on Conquest. Sorry,
I know, but like. I don't know. Numbers are subjective. Well, I seen Zagaro said 12v12, and I was like, yeah, 12v12. That doesn't sound so bad. Or 10v10. 15 versus 15.
Seems like a lot.
Seems like a lot.
It's just because that's GVG. I think
it's not going to work. Like, and it won't work with PvP stats. There's just no way. It will be incredibly cancerous if you have, because if you don't have access to enough defensive stats, 15v15 is horrible. Like, you have to add. They'd have to set it up so you could have. Kind of like the old amulets, you'd have to have stuff like Minstrel, man. Like, because honestly, like otherwise, it's just going to be kind of to a certain extent where World vs. World is going right now, but so much worse, right? Like where World vs. World right now is like you have just 10 heralds like mashing 2 as hard as they can, trying to coalescence you down, right? And like like you walk forwards like 2 centimeters, you get one shot by 3 coalescences that crit you for 15k each, and that's in Minstrel, right? That's in Minstrel. Yeah. So like if you've got Magi Firebrands, you will literally get one shot by a Power Herald with 25 might. You'll actually get one shot. Well, not by
so maybe
one,
it would be
like
all
3
to be
of them,
about.
Right?
Maybe it'd be more about like actual just running full damage 15 guys and just seeing who dies first, and the coordination
that's what it would be. I mean, it would be about trying to. What it's gonna be 15 guys kind of jiggling around until one idiot gets caught, and then all of the rest of the team will just die instantly. It will be a massive clown fiesta.
I think it'll be awful.
To me, I don't think that's particularly good.
I don't remember how big it was, but there was a large map in Rift where you fought over. It was 2 teams. You fought over a bunch of different nodes. Like you fought over the church and this. And you could do certain, I don't even remember all of the specifics now, but you could do certain things to summon a champion, which I know people aren't too big on the whole champion thing.
Maps. Yeah, that was an open world map.
No, this was a closed map. This was a PvP closed map, but it actually worked pretty well. There was like a resource running mechanic to get extra points and stuff, and yada yada yada. And World of Warcraft has had these large.
Oh, Tarek Valley, man. Give me vanilla.
Yeah.
Like vanilla WoW, man. When vanilla WoW comes
Ultimate
out,
Valley
dude,
was so. Ultimate Valley was so good.
I don't know. I always had fun with those things. So if that's ArenaNet's direction that they're thinking about, I would be all for that. I think that I don't think they are, but I mean that would be. That would be pretty cool.
You're right, that actually wasn't too bad. The problem with Rift was balance, because you could have so many builds.
Right, sure.
That was their main issue.
But
Rift was such
and then somebody else said like a battle royale. Yeah, I'd be down for that. I think.
Salson Code, man. What was it that event? Salson Survival. They've got it in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, they wanted to be like just conventional though, just the same thing. They wanted just with player abilities, but then I guess you just play permanent stealth thief. There you go, like just run away.
Or I reckon, I actually reckon, because if you think about like Fortnite and PUBG and because I play a lot of these games now, how would that work? Like, I mean, sorry to go off the topic. Maybe I'll finish the topic I was on and the question you asked me for once. And then I'll mention something else. But so 15 versus 15 generally is like, maybe we don't think that works. I don't know what chat thinks about it and if they actually think something different. But I think you're right. I think the stats in PvP are kind of limiting for that. They'd almost need to add another mists or have another section, like pick your stats for 15 versus 15. And then it gives you a new amulet choice and whatnot. But imagine queues for that if you don't have a guild, that'd be a nightmare. But I think they're bringing in. Do you remember Tournament of Legends? Those tournaments. So I think I'm 100% sure, and I don't know because I do talk to the PvP guys, not as much as I used to, but I actually don't know what's going to happen. I know bits and pieces, but not much. But you can gauge from the post that, TUL is going to come back through 80s, like 100%, I reckon. 100%. They're building it in that way that they'll be able to give. I mean, they're already doing it, right? I mean, they're giving people ascended armor through tournaments at the moment. They're giving those boxes because if you won a tournament before, you get a box. They just send the box to them. And it would be a box that was made, and it would have like a legendary item and the rest of the bits and bobs, or it would have like the mystic clovers and then the rest of the shit that could go, towards the legendary armor or legendary weapons. Sorry, it could do before. So they had all these systems in place already. So I reckon 80s is going to be Tournament of Legends. New PvP maps. They said they're working on a Conquest map. They're still not happy with Colosseum, I don't think, because I don't think anyone's happy with Colosseum. It's too fucking open. You play Colosseum, right? It's literally like a Colosseum.
Yeah.
I mean, it's too open.
I don't particularly like the map. I mean,
if you got a Deadeye Thief and stuff, or you got like a Lombo Ranger, and you haven't got stealth, you're almost you've got to use all your cooldowns to get away. It's kind of annoying. And I'm saying for the general casual player more often than not. But every time I log into that map, I'm like, I fucking hate this map. And the buffs are just, I mean, they're nice if you're a thief or something, but otherwise there's just not much point in going for them. So they need to rework that map, and I think they said they're doing that. But other than that, I mean, I think PvP is probably actually in the worst states it's been since they changed matchmaking. Since they changed matchmaking back in the day. But and I say that when I say it's in the worst state, I don't mean that as an insult or a bad thing. It's just genuinely player base population must be one of its all-time lows.
Yeah.
All-time lows, and that's because the matchmaking and the queue system got changed back in the day. I'm not sure if it was 2013 or 4. I'm pretty sure it's 13, and I can always remember Nos on Twitch queuing for hours, just waiting for a queue pop and just being like, shit, I really wish I could fucking get a game. And then the community started to grow. So they changed matchmaking, they widened the pool. So when you queue in any PvP game, you always queue with people around your MMR, ELO, whatever. And that in Guild Wars 2, it stayed kind of in that same region and waited for people to log in, and it would put people in your game that were actually around your skill level. That hasn't really changed. Like, they actually changed that queue around that time, 2013, where it reached out further, so that those guys at the top end of the game would actually get a queue pop. Unfortunately, that hasn't been changed. So when the community's got really small, you're literally getting a legendary player in a game, with down to silver 2.
Yeah.
That has happened to me many times, and
that, that is the inherent problem with the population right now.
Exactly, but the thing is, I don't know what they can really like. I mean, they can change that matchmaking, right? So they can make it a smaller.
But then it will just take forever. You'll never get a game. Like these high players won't get games.
They'll be waiting for days. I mean, at the moment.
Well, so this we have to. Is there any kind of feature that they could add? Do you think is there some kind of feature in PvP that requires an overhaul? Because as I see it, PvP actually kind of works. You know, like, PvP works.
Oh, it's good actually.
There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing. There's no like glaring errors with it. There's some like some of the maps have some like really abusive shit on them that you know like, you can kind of like the stupid terrain mini games, right? But who cares, right?
So the main issue is player base.
You're right. It's literally population. The reason the population remained for so long, and it remains so long in any PvP game, in all honesty, is the presence of a competitive scene.
Yeah. Well, maybe then you just buff the rewards and just bait people to try it, and then maybe they like it. Just crank those rewards back up again. Yeah, just crank the rewards back up in for ranked. Just get them in there. Like, triple pips. Or have stuff like weekends, right?
Triple pips.
Something like what about something like you have a weekend where everyone gets double pips, like double pips in World vs. World, double pips in PvP. Like bait people into trying it. Just get people to try the game mode. Like, it's fun, you know. You have a good time. You have a good time in these other games. People just don't even try, right?
Yeah. We've kind of mentioned that kind of thing in the past. Unfortunately, it's like I don't know. They see people as taking advantage. I mean, I can't. This was ages ago. Though I think there was an idea that maybe people would take advantage of that thing. They tried it with the Magic Find, right? With the Call of the Mists, which was actually people would genuinely come in for that, and they always ask me in videos. They'd say, "When was the Call of the Mists? You know, is there going to be one for Pro League?" We did. I think they started doing that back in GO4s and ESL monthlies, and it was good. You know, you get a shitload of extra Magic Find, like 200%, right?
Yeah, Magic Find sucks though, Jebro. That's the thing. Okay, it's fucking trash.
Exactly. I know, man. I've done many videos on Magic Find, like opening chests, and I've been like, I had literally forgotten to buff my Magic Find, and I've actually done better. Yeah. And I'm just like, oh, this is RNG again. But then I was like, okay, well, you know, it's content, I guess.
Yeah. It's not even so much the Magic Find that I care about, but progressing your reward track.
Yeah.
Like if they had a thing to like, you know.
Yeah.
Potions. I mean,
I think they just need to buff it.
Double potion weekend. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, the potion. I actually save my potions up for Winter's Day and stuff events because I'm like, okay, I can just spam like 250 potions and get like a shitload of gifts, and then I sell them. Like, actually, that's just something I do.
I have to agree too. You know, Seeks is saying, you know, I know esports is a meme, but when the PvP was more alive, when there was a competitive scene, like even somebody like me who doesn't really PvP. Certainly not in a while now. Even I knew who some of the teams were and who were on those teams and what was happening. Now I have no idea. I have no idea.
That was some of the biggest.
I just assume that Sinjernir wins everything, and I don't know. I have no idea what's really going on.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it's like that was actually some of the biggest and most successful marketing they had, in my opinion, for Pro League and ESL. And I actually think they didn't do that much for it. But when they did, it was actually pretty good. Like some of the videos and stuff, other than the ESL cringe videos that were in the Pro League final for season 1, where there were a lot of cross shots. And do you remember that shit? Oh my god, was it not? Or like, I think,
and just them standing or.
Yeah,
so good, so good.
Oh my god, the power! Oh my god, I didn't even.
That was the idea.
Tower. So Dude, I remember that. That was funny. That was funny, actually. That was really funny. Was
it when Shay fell off like a stump or something?
Yeah, they're all sitting on a tree or.
Oh man,
it was good stuff.
Yeah,
it was good stuff.
But it is that kind of thing, like, you know, Ig said, and I said it before, is that in a PvP game, if you don't have a scene where you have a tournaments going on, and we are relaunching our tournaments for the end of the month and the beginning of February, by the way. I haven't put them up yet, unfortunately. But the 28th is going to be NA, and the 11th is going to be EU. But also we do have something quite good, which will be coming around March 8th. But I can't talk about it yet.
Do I know what that is? Because I think I know what that is.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Is it Mystic Builds?
If only it was Mystic Builds, dude. No, real esports. We're bringing back real esports, dude. But
I did watch that last week.
Another thing.
I gotta get going, by the way.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Yes. So, would you like to just briefly shill?
Sure. I am Bootsper. You could find me at World of Enders on YouTube, and I do things for Guild Wars 2 and stuff like that.
Doesn't make bad build videos because some of them actually really good.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was sort of the idea from the beginning. It's things I thought was good, and maybe I'd get a hit once or twice, but everybody else thinks generally as bad.
Yeah, you just put Mad King runes on everything, man. That's what it is.
Yeah. That's what you gotta do.
You've made so many builds now. It's just like they're starting to get better.
I think the issue is now though that like I've hit on so many little things that kind of are maybe a little too overpowered that they all get nerfed not too long after I make the build.
Then it becomes a bad build. It becomes a bad build.
It becomes a bad build. So all of my video out of like whatever 30 videos I have, maybe only 2 of them are actually relevant right now because everything else has been nerfed or is out of date at this point. Anyway, there you go. I gotta get going though. Have a good time, guys.
Thanks for going on. See you later, man.
Nice to see you, man.
Nice to see you too.
Yeah. Woo. You know, the other thing that I actually want to talk about with regard. Oh my god. The overlay is an abomination now. Oh my
Use
goodness.
Discord, man. Discord video, dude.
Discord video, it would still make it an abomination unless there's a plugin for it.
I don't know if it does actually.
Unless there's a plugin that would make it better. But I don't know. Anyway. You know what? Wait. Oh no, it's even worse now. Anyway, I'm just gonna leave it like this. Okay, so I'll fix it soon. You know what? You know what we need to talk about, though, my friends. My friends, my dudes. Okay, PvP is unfortunately a bit of a mega meme right now, and honestly, like PvE to a certain extent as well, because there's something arguably similar going on. Okay. Win trading, French mafia, French players, win trading.
Go.
It's all exposed. Various quite famous players win trading, buying rank 1. You know, where's the clip? Where's the clip of Tramadex? Where is it? Like Ajax has got that shit. Okay, we've got that. You know, a larger, smaller.
That was a while ago. The Tramadex thing, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's all in this season as well. It's everywhere, dude. It's everywhere.
Oh, the
NA players buying rank 1, win trading rank 1. Like it's all happening. It's all happening.
I think it was worse the season before.
It may well have been worse, but the thing is, these players need to be slapped. Okay, they need to be slapped, and they need to be slapped hard. Okay, like the game mode is turning into a giant meme, Jebro. Like this isn't good. It's a mega meme.
It makes sense. Have you seen my stream recently in PvP? My New Year's resolution was literally don't use chat, because I spend half my time in chat basically telling people not to continue to do what they do so we could actually kill someone, let alone get a capture point. And it got bad. Like I needed to stop myself. It was bad. I was a bad example for like my stream and the community completely, because I was getting so fucking triggered.
But the thing is, awful. I have a terrible feeling that they aren't going to ban these people or revoke titles. I mean, are you kidding me? Like, this is insane.
Why are you surprised?
It just doesn't make any sense, dude. It's just actually horrible. And then, you know what? I don't know if you heard about this. I mean, I think Inks probably did, but I don't know. But Jebro, did you hear about how Doom, how you could exploit Doom?
No.
And okay, so it turns out that I won't actually say how you can do this, but I'm just going to say there is a way that you can basically completely trivialize the entire encounter and kill him instantly. But it is actually it's actually not fixed, by the way, ArenaNet. Just so you know. But
you might as well tell me so I can do it.
No, and the thing is, you could actually do this. You could actually do this for the challenge mode, which has a prestigious title attached to it for Voice in the Void, which is basically the only relevant title in PvE right now. Of course, you know, once people figure out how to get better at it, then it will become less relevant. That's how it goes with PvE, right? But
maybe don't mention it then.
Yeah, I'm not going to mention it. But like, this is the only title in the game. Something like only 80 people in the entire game have done it legitimately, right? Have done Doom Challenge mode legitimately, and this is after like a month after release as well, right? It's taken a while to people to get this done. No one on NA yet, by the way. Apparently, it seems. I think Nike's attempting it right now, actually. So that may change. Anyway. So, and you know what? I have a horrible feeling they aren't going to revoke the titles from these players. They're just going to do what they did for Wing 4. They're going to add they're going to add a new one, you know? Like, holy fuck. Like, I'm sorry, man. Like, we've got to do something about this. We can't have this. Like, PvP is a giant meme. Like, it's just like, you just think it's like a bunch of baguettes. Like, they own the leaderboard, dude. This is fucking stupid. Like,
I didn't actually see the leaderboard.
Even quite well-known people are doing this, man. Like, this is insane. Like, community members are doing this. It's insane.
Yeah, but who, though?
It's ridiculous. Well, I don't really want to expose people here, dude.
Oh, come on, dude.
Wait, do we really want to expose? You want to expose people? You want to expose people? Well, right. And I'm just going to say that this is basically what I heard, but
they're going to be fucking.
Well, like for a start, it's basically like the French mafia. It's like Sizer, Vans. Apparently, all these people are engaged in. I've even heard that like people on rank 55 like kind of engage with this in a passive way. That's fucking ridiculous, dude. Like, come on, like people like Sizer and Vans don't need to win trade. What the fuck are they doing? Like, why are they doing that? It doesn't make any sense. Like, who does that? It's just, it's ridiculous. Like, seriously, like, if any of you well-known people in the PvP World vs. Community win trading, seriously, you're a goddamn disgrace. Seriously, what is wrong with you people?
We have had issues with that occurring for a long time, but just DDoSing and generally like people joining teams and actually just, you know, playing like shit on purpose at times. Like, it's always been happening, but the thing is, it's like, it doesn't excuse it, obviously. I think with the fact that there's still a lot of anger that Pro League ended, and that the World Championship was, you know, a year and a half ago, and really there hasn't been anything major since, and there probably won't be, other than if it comes out of the community. I don't want to say what I'm thinking, but it's something that I've been thinking about for a long time, and it's just like, it makes me sad that my thing that I've been doing for so long is potentially dead. Is potentially not. Chat might be able to think of a better word than me.
Well, people just need to get bopped, man. People just need to get bopped. They need to just bop them. Like,
but that's you gotta fix the other issues. They're angry.
You gotta smite them.
It's all anger. It's all anger from being let down from like
honestly, if you want to talk about if you want proof, guys, like there's a lot of screenshots of this stuff. Like, you want to talk to Ajax, or the stuff I've heard and the stuff I've seen is from Syndner and Ajax mostly. Those are my sources, boys. Those are my sources. And honestly, it looks legit. Like, I don't know, it looks legit. I don't want to believe it, man. Like, these people, I don't think these people are bad people. I don't want to believe that shit. Like, Nico's got that shit. No. Nico's got that shit. We can paste that here, but I don't want to believe it. You know, but like, if it's the case, it's just not good. Like, this is not good. They're killing their own game mode. You know, like, you're making everyone think your game mode's a joke by doing this shit. It's
unfortunately.
It is at the moment. That's the problem.
Unfortunately, the win trading and all that has been going on for a long time with no repercussions, and then it got much worse after they sold that NA top 1 spot, and basically nothing really happened to them. They just made new accounts and won again in the next AT. And so now everybody's like, it's a joke, it's a meme. We'll just win trade and do whatever we want because they're not going to do anything to us. The community's too small, and we are just going to win trade and do whatever we want in this game mode.
Yeah, it was a bit.
And I said that on a TeaTime 6 months ago when this first started happening publicly.
Yeah.
Like, publicly to the point where they don't care anymore. They literally don't care if they get caught. They're like, whatever. Who cares? What are they going to do?
Yeah, they don't. That's the thing.
You can't have that kind of attitude running rampant in your community. Like, they literally just don't care. They win trade and do whatever they want.
I mean, I don't actually know what they can do other than because for a PvPer, you know, I mean, for those guys, is that I mean they banned their account for a bit, but then what? I mean, if they start a new one, I mean, it was quite funny. Like some of the guys who did it, I mean, you know, I like the guys who actually were doing it. And I was a little bit disappointed, but I'm not sure if I was surprised. Yeah, because it kind of got to that stage. It was literally anger. Like at that, those guys doing that was like, you know, Pro League's fucking ended. Fuck these guys. That's pretty much what that was about. That's what I feel like.
I understand their frustration.
It doesn't make it right, though, right? It doesn't make it right.
Yeah.
But you know, we're all young at different times of our lives, and we all do stupid shit. Unfortunately, some of us don't think about that at the time, and to the point where we think outside ourselves. But hey ho, salt from Jebro. But I don't know. I just don't think. I mean, maybe a TOL, maybe the ATs changing the 2v2s and everything else will change that kind of thing. But and it's not really the PvP devs' fault either, because you know I think ever since Pro League was taken away and everything else, they've not really got the resources that we would like them to have. Maybe they haven't got, you know, they've always had a really small team anyway. And it's only got smaller over the years because we know the focus generally from ArenaNet now especially isn't PvP. I mean, we know that because of World v World and its situation as well. PvE is generally the hardcore mode in Guild Wars 2 is raiding. Like that is the hardcore mode out of all the modes there are. It is though, dudes. It's the most organized content in the game right now, isn't it? You sure?
I would say it would be PvP. I mean, like 18.
No, yeah. There are not as many focused, grouped people in PvP as there are in raids. No way.
I mean, like in terms of, I guess you have a few hardcore guilds. I mean, hardcore guilds you have maybe. Yeah. You know, you have, I don't know, you have SC, you have Snow Crows, but I mean,
PvE,
yeah, for
no,
PvE.
But you have so many guilds. Like there are a lot of people who on Twitch, like lower down in the viewing list, who have guilds who are more organized than PvP teams and ATs. So, I mean, it's like
so. I think that's isn't it. I guess there's no real motivation for it in PvP right now. You know, there's just no reason to be organized because it's going to take. You just need the reason. The reason you're going to play. The reason it will ever change is if there's 5 people who kind of want to win. I guess, but I guess right now people would rather just transfer to NA and win trade than actually get good and try and beat the people who are going to win every time. Right? I think that's kind of how it's going. That's kind of sad, right? That's a bit sad, but I guess that's how it is.
On the PvE side of things too, like. I think the reason that they create an extra title when there is an exploit like this, and I just know that there is an exploit. I don't know how it works or anything about Doom, but I don't think they have the technology or the capability to take titles and stuff away. I think that's a problem for them. So, like, did we ever hear a follow up if they took the titles away from the NA win trade guys? I don't think they ever did. But anyway, I don't think they can take titles and stuff away, so they just have to create a new title, fix the bug, and it sucks. It does, you know, but it's a bug. It's an exploit. These people should be punished if they're actively seeking these exploits. They just really aren't anymore.
Yeah, they did. I think they did remove everything that those guys should have won in the PvP season 1. I think they did get removed. I'm pretty sure. Like I know at least the title did. I'm pretty sure it did. I don't know. I'm not sure about all the rewards because I remember there was some bragging about that. But I mean,
they took away Gwam, but again, I'm not. Do you remember like all the stuff they had to do in order to get that to work? It's not an easy thing for them to do. Is my point.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's structured and coded and all that stuff, but it's not as easy for them to do.
Yeah, I guess, but I mean,
or maybe it's not. Or maybe it's not easy for them to detect.
It kind of bamboozles me. I mean, how can they not remove something from your account? I mean, I don't want to criticize like the the developers.
My Guild
here,
Wars 2 fucking hack got removed from my account. That's a lot.
How can they not? Because do you know what's hilarious actually? Because I think they might actually have some problems with this. Because you see, I actually at one point I bought the wrong item for magnetite shards, and I was like, fuck! I just wasted my magnetite shards from my raid. So I sent a message to support. Okay, and they actually asked me to delete the item, right? It's like, well, why didn't you just delete it yourself? You know, like why don't you just delete it? And like, can they actually not do this? Like, I mean, what? I don't know. I don't want to poke fun, but what? It doesn't. How could they have the database, man? Just remove it.
Maybe that's their proof though to say that you're not trolling them. I don't know. Like they'll be like, well, this guy's completely wasted his shards now, so he must be true.
On the other hand, we know that they don't always follow up because there's people on efficiency that have like 3 red moto baubles, which is impossible to get in the game. So we know that system doesn't always work either.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I think
it's probably just easier to fix the exploit and create a new title rather than go manually through thousands of accounts and remove those titles.
I mean, essentially what they need to do is if something like that gets flagged up, that priority needs to be made, right? So they fix that ASAP.
Sure.
Like they need to fix it so people.
And with the holidays and everything, there's so many people in and out of the office, any office, this time of year, like not good.
I mean, I suppose that's fair random, but you know what I mean. Fair enough.
Yeah. It's like you're obviously like if I was you, for example, and I'd worked hard to get something like that title in a raid, and it's a mega hype thing for the stream, and then all of a sudden you realize that 50 people have just done it by just waving at the boss, and he dies. As an example, I'm not sure what it is. And like you're gonna be pissed off. I mean, it's
it devalues it. It devalues it, right?
Exactly.
I think stuff like this kind of has to be dealt with a bit better, right? It's just kind of what the hell? What even is this?
It was a good comparison with PvP because it is very similar. Because
it's prestige. It's a prestige thing, right? It's
completely. Like if you want people to care about something, it has to be a legitimate thing you can earn and do. It can't just be trivialized because otherwise.
Guys, come on! Don't. Why are you guys being silly in chat right now? I don't have to do my job. It's the holidays. It's not about not doing the job. It's
Who
about
the
people
fuck
not being
working during Christmas?
It's about people not being in the office in order to fix all of these things right away. I mean,
we're not completely irrational, like where we think that people should be, Christmas night with their 3 children at home in the morning.
Yes. I'd better fix Doom CM right now.
Guys, you know what? I've got to go to work. Fuck Christmas Day. I know our 0-year-old child is about to have their first Christmas, but you know what? That guy in chat needs it fixed. I am dedicated.
We've got to fix Doom CM. We got to ban those. We got to ban that French mafia, dude. We got to shut it all down. Right
now.
Yeah, come on.
We're not irrational. We are logical, minded people. Yeah. But like I think Teapot is saying generally these things need to be dealt with a lot quicker than they have been in the past and the present.
No, what we're saying is that we want it fixed and we think it should be fixed, but we're also saying we're kind of worried that it won't be.
Yeah.
It'll still be a while before it's fixed. It's, they're probably just getting around to addressing it now.
The PvE one is easier to fix than the PvP one. The PvP one is almost an impossibility. You can't do that. That's just a mentality of people. Like you can't. That's something difficult to fix because it happens in every game. You can just make a twink, and you can just. It's like anything, If your CS:GO ranking goes to shit, you just create a new account and you grind and you get there quite quickly again. And you know what? You're probably better off. It's just the way it is. Like if that account gets banned, I mean, unless they could completely ban your IP or something like that, I don't know the ins and outs of that. That's the only way they can do it. Like there's no other way. It's just almost an impossibility.
Most people only get Christmas Day and New Year's off. I guess it depends where you work. A lot of people were out of the office until January 3rd. No, I'm not talking just about Canada. I'm just talking about in general. Like,
all right,
people take time at that time of the year. They save their holidays and stuff.
Yeah, Yeah, that's true.
Like even from a community perspective of just ArenaNet people I follow, a lot of them take holidays. You know, it's not uncommon for people who work in any industry really to be taking holidays around that time. And office work, industry work in general slows down that time of that particular for those particular couple of weeks a year.
Exactly. I mean, they're just not back yet. They're not fully back. That's just what it is. That's just what it is, boys. But this is a bit
January, right? I mean, it's still like they're still getting back from holidays, and they're probably just thinking, only just getting into the mindset of going back to work after having 2 weeks off work. The first thing, it's difficult. But like I think, like you said, Teapot, is the worry that may not get sorted out. Like with PvP wise, I'm not expecting anything to change because I don't think they can actually do much about it. But I think with that issue that you're having, I mean, other than banning them and telling you, you know what, go fuck yourself. And if some of these guys are in the partner program, for example, which is probably
you mean the people who sold the AT who are still in the partner program? Do you mean those people? Sell
those
the
people.
You mean the people who are still in the partner program who
shouldn't be. Yep.
Who sold the AT, who did real money trading.
Those things don't get made. I mean, I have to be very careful about pointing fingers and everything. But the way the world should work is if you fuck up, you are punished. And okay, you should be forgiven at a time when you have then the chance to redeem yourself. I fully believe that. But you need to have some kind of punishment or something in there so people can fucking learn a lesson. But they don't. And unfortunately, that's not the case. So, as long as they allow people to have chance after chance after chance with no repercussion, then that's not going to change. And it's just sometimes you need to be mum and dad to these people because they haven't had them before. Probably, I don't know. To tell them that what you're doing is fucking wrong.
When it comes to a competitive game mode like PvP, if you as the developer of this game mode and you kind of sit there and and in your silence you kind of tolerate cheating is what it is, then all competition is gone. Like it's dead at that point. If you passively tolerate cheating in the game mode with no repercussions, then of course people are gonna go like, who gives a shit, right? Like, who's gonna play that? Like who's gonna play? Who's gonna play when like the top 20 spots are reserved for a cartel? Like, oh, come on, man. Like, no.
Cartel.
It's just come on, man. Like, it's they need to sort that out. Like the PvE thing, like who cares, right? At the end of the day, just like slap a ban on them and remove the titles. But like they need to get on this thing with the PvP, dude. Honestly, they need to get on it. Otherwise, it's just not going to go.
NA, it wasn't that bad this season. I know there was some, but I know it wasn't as bad. But I didn't realize the EU was that bad, actually. I think I've been a bit disconnected from the leaderboards on the EU. Genuinely, because I've just been like, I actually don't care about the leaderboards at the moment because my games are shit. Like, I would just be like, I'm average. I belong in plat. I've got plat the last couple of seasons, scraped by. But the thing is I'll go from plat 2, which is where I placed right at the beginning of the season, to gold 1, and then I'll have to grind back up. And the game quality was just bad. I actually just genuinely care if my game is good. If my actual quality of my game is good, then I'm happy because I can't play another MMO. Like I just actually find it difficult because the main thing I like about the game. Like, even if a lot of the game was shit, I would still play it because the combat is just OP. Like, it's just too good. The combat is just epic. Like, you go and play any MMO on the market, Black Desert Online's combat is not bad, but it doesn't have combo fields. So it's like, I will always play this game because of combat. Yeah. Like, they've got me for life on combat alone. That's it. Like, and the people and doing things like this and community, I think thankfully that's enough for me. But that isn't, I'm only me. I'm not everyone else in the game. And unfortunately, there are people that I don't understand why people want to get things dishonestly. Because like Where's your sense of achievement, for fuck's sake?
Exactly. You can't have
Some
it.
people, unfortunately, like to push the envelope, right? They want to see how far they can push until they're punished or until they're caught or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like a fucking trained therapist from the UK, and I can tell you all of the reasons why people do things like that if you really want me to, but I'm not gonna because that's too deep. But they need a mum or they need a fucking dad to just slap their wrists and tell them, you know, you've done something wrong and you need some punishment right now, you know. Depending on what they like to enjoy, you know, it could be many different things. But
been a bad PvPer.
Yeah, exactly.
Naughty.
It's as simple as that. But yeah, I mean, next season, I think so. Akujin, yeah, my partner in crime, sometimes duo partner. He knows my pain. My whole stream knows my pain because I can go from a happy to sad face in many, many, many seconds. No, in very, very few seconds. Sorry, because it's just. It's a shame.
It's a shame for that game mode. It's a shame for the game.
I've been involved in. I've traveled the fucking world doing this, casting. You know, the game, the PvP, and I've met Inks and met Matt as well. It's like I've had opportunity to do this very briefly, Inks, unfortunately, but and for anyone, I think, other than the players that have been involved in that as well, like for me personally, it's very sad because I've kind of been involved almost since the beginning of it, and it's just I've seen the evolution of this, and it's just a time where now I have to realize, and I have realized over the last couple of years, that this is just not sustainable and it's not going to continue. So obviously I've had to branch out, and that's why I do Rocket League. So I get that from somewhere else, and it's fucking awesome. It's just like commentating on fucking football.
It's a bit depressing. This is honestly a bit depressing. Guys, we need to bring the energy back,
Matt,
bring the positivity back to this stream, boys. We've been like shitting on everything today. It feels bad.
Not shitting on everything.
We're shitting on everything, man.
No, we're not.
Calling the game trash, saying like the Guild Wars is trash. No,
we didn't. Like the thing is in life is that you have to ask questions and you have to, poke a bit. It's not about like, I don't think we were bashing. I think we were being it's January. We're all going back to work and we're all thinking about what's going on. It's that kind of feeling. It's almost the back to work blues. I don't know, but I'm still positive because I've got lots of stuff planned for PvP, which is why I'm still trying. I'm not giving up. But I can't control people that are.
Yeah.
Well, I was almost going to say that word. I'd try not to say it. Wankers, I will go for who want to fuck up the scene and the enjoyability of other people. Like, really, they can go fuck themselves for all I give a shit. They can. Leave the scene. I don't give a shit how big you are. Just fuck off and let us enjoy the game. Because at the end of the day, that's what we want to do. There are people who are genuinely and I want to do that. I wouldn't be still doing this if I didn't enjoy it. I'm not doing it to, suck up viewers and suck up, some kind of. I love the game. I met my wife through the fucking game. I live in Seattle. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like I just do it because I've got nothing else to do. I want to do it. So, like, we're still organising tournaments. I'm trying to organise 2v2s. We've got something bigger planned for maybe March, April. I'm actually meeting up with the Matchmaking people this week as well to talk about the future of actually what they can do in terms of sponsoring our tournaments. So there's a lot of development on my side. I want other things to happen, though. I don't want to just always be organising shit. I actually think that, MightyTeapot's Mystic Builds is fucking awesome. And he's really good. And he's going to be so good for the PvP scene. I genuinely think that it's going to bring lots of people. I know it's just, you pick up random abilities and stuff. It's PvP. Do you know what I mean? You've still got to get people are still in the community watching it. It's a good event. So I actually think that more people that can do stuff and organize events.
Yeah, man. That's what we need. We gotta bring it back. We gotta bring it back, man. We gotta make PvP great again this year. We gotta make it all great again. All of it. Every game mode needs to be made great again. And I think we can do that.
It's bigger than yours, by the way.
Oh yeah? Yeah, but mine actually works though, dude, so it's fine.
Fucking
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. On the PvE side of things, I think we've got 7 or 8 stories to look forward to, which will carry us into next year. I think 2019 is going to be a really big year, actually, for ArenaNet, not just Guild Wars 2, but as a company as a whole. And this year, I think we've got, like I said, 7 or 8 stories lined up, which carries you into the next year. I think we have probably 2 to 3 raids. It might be a little wishful thinking on the 3 raids part, but I do think that the next raid is going to be semi-quickly followed, as opposed to what we experienced in 2017, as well as additional fractals, 2 or 3 fractals probably for the rest of the year, which doesn't sound like a ton, unfortunately, but those would be my guesses for PvE.
Yeah. I think that's definitely true. I think we should be looking forward to a lot more regular content actually during 2018, because I think the raid team sounds confident that they almost implied that we'd be getting some kind of raid content with every living story release. Even they kind of almost seem to imply that actually, but much more regular. We'll be seeing quite a lot of actual raid content, PvE raid content, that is. Coming out this year as well. So obviously additional fractals, some with challenge modes, some without. I think the next one will have a challenge mode, as I understand it. So that will be very exciting to see. And then with regards to PvP, they're obviously adjusting the tournaments. But honestly, like the majority of what needs to happen to PvP is it kind of has to be
people.
Yeah, it's not ArenaNet at this point. Like it has to be people feeling they need to get into the game. And I think the way I would go about doing that is by baiting people with rewards. There was one season where, goddamn, the rewards for PvP were absolutely crazy. Like a full ascended set for basically just playing these. And they went. The thing is, they went too far, right, with the next one, because they fucking butchered it, man. They were
don't even get me started. You have to. The thing is, it's not even earnable just through PvP. Well, it is, but you still have to craft stuff.
Yeah,
and I think when you bring
the marks, you
bring in crafting into PvP, it's I can understand the legendary armor, right? That's fine, but having to craft the mark, one mark when you need 3 or 4 marks for a piece of armor,
sucks.
Awful.
One piece of they're so bad.
They're terrible.
Terrible. And you can't farm that quickly through reward treks. Yeah. You need to play so much PvP, so it's like, why the fuck bother? And you shouldn't get the skin, fair enough. And they are reskinning. They are reskinning the ascended armor as well. Or they're changing some of the sets, which is good. I did have an issue with the looks of the PvP weapons, the obsidian weapons, right? I mean, that's a personal thing. I just think they look bad. And I don't think I still remember the McDonald's fries holder that was compared to the shield, I think it was, or something. Have you seen that meme?
Oh yeah. Actually, I tell you what. Yeah. Actually, now you say that, I haven't seen the meme, but now I'm thinking about it. Now I know exactly what you mean. Actually,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. So those skins were really weird. The skins were really weird. The obsidian skins are very weird, I have to say.
It's a good idea. It's a solid idea.
Yeah. But they are a bit weird.
There was no real. It looks like a potato. I mean, it literally looks like almost, the potato chips sing in the holder. It's not good. And it was a cool idea. The weapon kind of glimmers with the color of the team you're on. And I've not really seen that in other games. And the thought was there, but unfortunately the execution was less than awesome. But again, it's that argument: should you be getting really, really good looking weapons and skins and stuff earnable in game when you've got the gem store? So then I understand.
You should.
I agree with you, Vince. I agree with you, Vince. But then but something that doesn't look like I feel really bad for saying this because I don't want to insult the artist, but they're shit. They look horrible, and that's just my personal opinion. But a lot of people felt the same. And when your game mode doesn't get work, and this is similar to that World v World feeling as well that was around a while ago with rewards. When you wait for something and you're told to get excited about something, and it turns out to be where you feel like the effort really hasn't been made, or someone has said, we want this, but okay, guys, you cannot make it look awesome because it will take away the hype from essentially the glacial weapons that are coming into the gem store.
Can you imagine Can you imagine that's an email? Like you get sent an email, hey, got a new project for you. We need you to make a weapon set, but you can't make it look too awesome. Okay, no problem.
I think we're being a little cynical here, guys. I think we're being a little cynical here.
But of course we are.
There must be decisions. There must be things like that come in. No, I'm joking, but not really. But you know, but it just as a genuine joke, though. Like, I mean, is there anyone that likes those weapons in the chat?
The dagger's good. The dagger's not good, I think. And the torch is decent, but honestly, the other ones they're just weird. They're just.
I haven't really looked at them.
They don't really fit with anything. They're just odd. They're just unusual. I don't like them, but maybe some people do. But,
they look a bit like the basic Winter's Day skins.
Yeah. I think a huge thing is baiting people into playing the game, right? You have to. Yeah. I think you have to like throw rewards at people. I think stuff like just buff the rewards across the board. World vs. World in PvP should just be buffed. That's just baseline. But then something that I think they should do this. I've recently kind of come. We've talked about this idea a few times on previous TeaTimes. Like this, I feel like this is a really good idea. Would be to have like. Make the rewards like really overpowered for a weekend or something, or an entire week or something. Like make World versus World rewards actually insane just for a weekend or something. Like why not, right? Like for 2 days. Come on, man.
They feel like you're missing out. You're so that make the player think like, you know, I'm actually going to be missing out if I don't play this.
If I don't play this weekend, I'm losing out big time.
Like, but don't just do it one off. Like, do it once a month on a different weekend, you know, or a different date. Like, so it's not like every time it's the end weekend of the month. You know, spread it out a bit. Different days. Have a day of a weekend. You know, like so people can be like, okay, I can't play that day. That sucks, Arena. And they'll be like, it's okay. Next month you can play on a Friday during the day and get this.
Yeah, you rotate it up. Sure.
Just fucking do it. Like, I mean, you know. It makes complete sense because, you know, even if you can just get like the mark, like you can get a bonus mark if you get the chest on this day or something like that. It's simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. But then again, I don't know how complicated that kind of stuff is and yada, yada, yada. But, you know, I think that's a good idea, man.
Yeah. That's what we've got to get done. I think this is our community is a reward-driven community, and I think that once people try the game mode, at least some of them are going to say, "Hey, I actually kind of like this."
Yeah, even if you get 1 out of 10. People,
you know, some people will come some of the guys who will come in from the casual open world stuff, they'll go, you know, I'm going to come because damn man, these rewards are sick. Like I can go and buy my legendary with this. But some of them go, hang on a minute, I actually kind of like PvP, or I actually kind of like World versus World. This is a bit of fun, isn't it? And then that's how you kind of get people in, and then the rewards increases, and these weekends already reward existing players, right?
Yep.
Because the people who are already in the game and already playing the game mode, they feel, hey, ArenaNet loves me. They're giving me bonus rewards for playing my favorite game mode. You know? So
imagine if they did that with ATs. An AT each week, like a day of ATs each week, gave an extra like 100 gold or something.
Well, yeah, why not?
The other thing.
Why not?
The other thing that happens is people like myself, and I know this happens to Wooden Potatoes as well, who rotate around game modes. Like I got sucked back into World vs. World when they updated the pips and the rewards. Like I played for at least 2 months where I was in there, you know, almost every day trying to, you know, be in a part of a group and on TeamSpeak and everything, part of a Discord and all that stuff. So even if it only grabs you for 2 months, but if you did it frequently and often enough, it would grab you more often where you'd be like, you know what? I haven't done PvP in a while. Let's go try it out again. And you get hooked back into that game mode because the rewards are better and all that kind of stuff. So,
I mean, it's actually like last night. This is a good example. It's not Guild Wars 2 example, but it's a Fortnite example. And Inks has played Fortnite. He loves it. I actually don't know if you like it. Do you like it?
I'm terrible at it. But I do like it. Yeah, it's fun.
But you can pay, or you can. It's free. It's a free game. It's one of the battle royale games from Epic where their PvE mode failed, and they basically made a battle royale overnight, and now it's the 3rd most played game in the world since last September or something stupid like that. And basically every day, right? And last night was a perfect example. I literally wanted to play because I could get a skin. Like, it was the main drive of why I wanted to play the game for the but then I was enjoying it and I played for hours last night. But it was just because at that certain time, at this moment in time, there's a specific event where you could, if you pay $7 or £7 or something like that, you can go along this reward track. And for this time, you get the skins which are not available again, pretty much as far as I know, other than maybe next year at this time. And that is one of the driving forces. I don't necessarily like it, but it does get people in your mode to play it, and it does get population, and it does increase. It does keep some people there, so that it works. This is what free-to-play games are doing. Everywhere, you know, no matter what game you can play, you can always think about some game where you can earn something in the game that gives you something pretty decent. But it needs to be more. I think they just need to up them for PvP and World v World, like Matt said and Ink said. It's like it can be done better. I just think they're worried that, you know, it's going to be exploited, but they just need to make sure it's done properly. I guess I'm not, you know.
No matter how much they do that, it will never be. They'd have to buff it so much to be as abusive as some of the stuff in PvE, though, right? Like some of the various farms in PvE are so strong compared to the other game modes, like, and they're incredibly mind-numbing, right? Like no one, like they're aids. I mean, they're incredibly boring, but grinding some of this stuff is really, really easy money compared to like stuff in World vs. World and PvP. I mean, PvP is actually not that bad. I think PvP rewards are actually not that bad. It's
No, the golds were right.
Yeah, exactly. It's, okay. It's decent gold. You can do the reward tracks pretty quickly as well.
Yeah, it's okay gold. Yeah, I mean, like you say, but then it's like, you know, I wanna, if I measure it against, you know, something I enjoy doing and the amount of gold I get, then I feel better rather than going to, I don't know what the best farm in the game is in the world at the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
In mind numbing.
But I'd rather. Exactly, that's what I mean. You need to convert people into players with that mentality, though, because right now there's a lot of players that just go, all right, so I want to get my legendary, right? I want to craft my legendary. So they just do the thing that's the most efficient in the game, and they just grind it out and then job done. But what they need to be doing is playing the game for the game, not for the rewards. Because right now there's a lot. The Guild Wars 2 community is very reward-driven. They're very centered on rewards. That's not a bad thing. That's a fine thing.
I think that's a lot of people though as well now.
Yeah, that's just in general. Just in general, yeah. Like in general,
I think it is. Yeah. I think the market for game for I don't want to sound cynical because that kind of is the way it's going to go. But I actually genuinely think that's kind of just almost the way of the world, unfortunately, in terms of, you know, we want something for our time, and it's not good enough to just have enjoyment. We need to have like something that looks pretty as well. Yeah. I don't want to talk about everyone because I don't believe that us three are like that. But to a degree, we do want something. Yeah, you're right. It is. And there's nothing wrong with that necessarily, but it is just the way it is. So, you know, you have to change and adjust to the way that is. And I think that goes back to our earlier point, and maybe I'm not sure if you guys agreed with me on that, you know, that you can't just rely on advertising your game in 2018 now on word of mouth and some random tweets. You can't do that. You have to change with the times. And
hey,
I don't know.
Haters gonna hate.
Haters gonna hate.
Yeah, I guess. You know, the World versus World, the World versus World. These World versus World. Yeah, like, and the trouble with this is, and this actually is for PvP and World versus World as well, definitely. Right. If they see that you've got a PvE title or you've got legendary armor,
or if they see that you're a ranger,
as I understand it, one of the guys I did Doom CM with, I believe he actually got some kind of abuse in about 50% of games for being from PvE in PvP. Yeah, so that's nice.
Wow.
So like,
really. That's fucking ridiculous, man. Yeah, but, that's so tough. They're probably better than them as well.
The guy's legend. The guy's legend rank. Legend rank.
Oh, what?
Yeah, the guy, he's a legend rank. He's above 1800.
I know so, this season there was the meme that the ranks don't matter, but you still have to be able to play PvP quite a lot to get there, so at least it's played.
And again, like these that's the thing. Like the community is not they're they're not just a bit salty, really. They're just a bit kind of jaded. But as soon as like, aha, we want players in our game mode. And here comes the fresh blood. Get these fucking PvE noobs out of here, man. You know what I mean?
I know.
Like, come on, man.
And the elitism comes out. I mean, I think I've actually been guilty of that on occasion. I can't say I'm not guilty of that at times. Not with the whole armor thing, like looking at that, because I don't care. I want people in the mode, but I think it's only been because of matchmaking specifically recently, and I'm just like, it's more of an anger that's not been vented in the right place. Like, it's not an anger towards the player. It's more of an anger towards, the shitty matchmaking, which I know is shit for a reason, because a player base and population changes, and that's getting sorted. It is actually legitimately getting sorted, guys. They've actually put this on the forums that they are changing matchmaking. They actually changed unranked matchmaking. I can't remember the details now, but they did a day. It was a Wednesday. I think it was just after the patch, the most recent big patch. It was the Wednesday where they changed ranking on unranked matchmaking, so the queue times were a little bit longer, but they were a little bit closer. They actually waited for games to assemble so that the games had a higher quality rating. I don't know if it worked or not because it's unranked, but yeah, I mean, they're working towards it. So I think PvP guys are doing better with their communication. I think that's a lot of it as well. Like, as long as you tell people to some degree that you're working on something and you're developing something, then it can help alleviate like the jaded feeling to a degree. Not completely.
People like roadmaps,
Yeah. And that goes back to the marketing from before, and it goes to teasing about things. Like, you remember that, I mean, you guys have talked about this numerous times, but like the Heart of Thorns fucking promotional stuff, like when they did that, it was really good. Like, it was well, I don't know if it was really good, but it was a lot better than Path of Fire. Like, it was like hype. I mean, even starting with just sending out like people to different locations around the world and playing the game, getting out to shows like the one in London, like in the Docklands. Like, it's a tiny one. Like, Matt was there. That was a pretty good event, dude. You remember that?
To EGX or
That was a nice
Rez.
little event. Yeah, Rez.
Yeah, and that Rez is more of an indie dev event as well. So it's like, I don't know if it's now, but it was like they took the risk and they went and they got shitloads of people. The queues were going around the place. It was so many people. It was epic. They were at PAX East when WTS was on. They're combining these different things. Like, that's massive.
Yeah, there was like a 2.5 hour wait to try the demo. I mean,
yeah, absolute massive hype. Even Gamescom, like after the game had launched, like back when we had Pro League. No, it wasn't Pro League. It was WTS. I think it was season 2. It was the second. I can't remember. But it was at Gamescom. And there was a booth in the Twitch. That was when Guild Wars 2 was partnered with Twitch, though, for that. But they still had a booth, and they still had shitloads of people playing the game. Do you know what I mean? Like, they really did a solid job with that combination. But like, there was nothing with Path of Fire. It's just like, guys, this game's coming. This expansion's coming out. Buy it.
Do you think it was?
I don't know. They're expensive.
Well, right. So I'm going to say it's probably a combination of things, right? Like, they probably looked at the marketing for Heart of Thorns and said, okay, that cost us a lot of money. How much return did we really get out of that? And number two, there was a long lead up to Heart of Thorns, and Path of Fire's lead up was very short in comparison.
It's very true.
So they probably said, look, we're not going to have a long lead up time to the launch of Path of Fire. We're going to lower the price on the game. What kind of marketing can we really do? We can't be hitting up, East and all these other places because the game, we're not ready to show the game yet. So, like, they could have done Gamescom because they did a community party, but they didn't really demo it for whatever reason.
Yeah, I was confused about that. Even PAX West.
And PAX West as well,
PAX West is in Seattle. Do you know what I mean? Like, the party was good. It was but like, gauging even just by how many people were, like, imagine, the gathering, obviously at Gamescom, Matt was there on that one. Imagine, this was in the Hard Rock Cafe with 3 floors. and there were hundreds of people. There were people even on the VIP list, and the one in Seattle. There were people queuing for blocks to get into this place, blocks and blocks on 2 streets, 2 different streets. It was insane. There were so many people. I was like, okay, I'm trying to find the VIP line because like there was a VIP thing for partners, and they were like, this is the VIP line. It was this 3 or 4.
Well, that seemed a bit silly because like everybody's a VIP. You're a VIP. You're a VIP.
Everyone's very important. Everyone's so important these days, man. You know,
everyone is. And that's good.
Everyone's special.
Everyone is equal. I like it. In psychological sense. But you know, I really think like the hype and the excitement was there, but I don't think it was engaged in a way that could really have just blown up their expansion and the sales of that. Because, I mean, I don't even know how much they've sold because I've only seen those figures of that quarter because I don't think they're not really that. You can't really base anything off of those, though, can you? I suppose, other than maybe the first quarter for Heart of Thorns or whatever. But they couldn't have made as much money as they did with Heart of Thorns. No way.
It's good. It's a little hard to tell.
They may have made
a little harder to tell, but
some new stuff.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know.
Yeah, there's gonna be some different stuff, and apparently they made the matchmaking better. Look, well, yeah, I've seen this post. Yeah, no, wait, yeah, I know all these posted. I know all this stuff. Yeah,
is that the PvP?
Apparently they improved. Apparently they made the matchmaking better or something, right?
Oh, they have changed it.
Yeah, there's something being linked right now.
I've not actually seen this post.
Apparently it's very recent. Very recent that they've improved the matchmaking or something. They're testing it in unranked, so.
Oh yeah, it's still the unranked. Okay, I know that then.
So that's kind of good, right? That's pretty good.
Okay, I thought it was ranked. Yeah, ranked is in the next ranked season, hasn't it?
Yeah. So, yeah, the thing is that the guys, the expansion is about half the price of HOT, right? It's like the instant money is less.
They have to sell more of them.
They sell more of them, and they have more sustained income because of stuff like mount skins. So, I think it's not an easy comparison. They've kind of switched the business model. Even they've changed the business model up quite a bit. Going into Pathfinder, I think it's a good thing as well. A low barrier of entry, especially when you have to buy other expansions as well. Like when you have to buy HOT as well to get everything out of it. I think it's good the way they've gone about it.
I mean, the selling that side of things, they've only got 2 expecs you need to buy. Remember, it's $50 and you get everything. It's not that bad. It's pretty good. I mean, if you think about Final Fantasy, if you think about WoW, I mean, I don't know how many expecs you can get.
It's always massive value, huge value. Yeah, definitely for sure.
What people paid to get the core game and stuff is well worth it, without a doubt. It's whether or not that's how manageable that is and how they go on in future to really make sure that they can continue. Because I don't know if you guys were worried about this when you went on Reddit, for example, and you saw maybe, how Mo was explaining about, the reliance upon the players to spread the word about the game. That really worried me, man. Like, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to tell my friends and do content. And obviously I play the game. But no, I do think
it seems a bit strange. Yeah.
Do some marketing yourself because you are probably the one who should. I mean, I don't know if I'm just a bit like that's a dumbass thing for me to think, but
well, and here's the other thing. Like I see Guild Wars 2 ads all over the place on the internet, but I also have a Guild Wars 2.
You already played the game, yeah.
Right, I already played the game. I'm embedded. So those ads, like, I wonder how many of those ads for people who don't play the game. I wonder how many people are seeing those ads. Like, I see them all the time, but I would expect to because, I search Guild Wars 2 stuff all the time. So of course I'm going to see it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. It's just weird. It's just like I don't. It just seems so backward, though. I mean, it's not. That's not a jaded thing, though. That's just us caring and being genuine in what we think about the game.
I really hope it improves. I really hope they can sort it out. But I think this game is so great, and I think it has so much potential. And I am a believer, man. I believe that they are actually going to really crank it up a notch in 2018. I see the beginning of great things, actually, in the way the the company communicates with us. They seem to have got their release schedule sorted. They seem to be trying to engage with the game modes, the community of the game modes a lot better. I have a lot of confidence in ArenaNet.
That's true.
So,
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I have a lot of respect, and they are very hardworking. There is absolutely no question of how dedicated they are to the game. I think there are just places, whether or not it's people or the leadership or whatever, where they're really out of touch of what year they're living in. Like, that's the problem I have. I think it's just like they need to think, you know, we need to give, like your excitement, Matt, for the game just then. Example, let's fucking show that, right? Let's tell people how awesome our games. Why don't we just show a clip of fucking MightyTeapot with that little quote there, little tiny video, like showing his passion for the game? That would be even just something stupid like that. I'm not saying what you said was stupid, but do you know what I mean? In terms of like those little things that can really just be like get a feeling. Like someone in chat right then would have been like, "Yeah, fucking MightyTeapot, he loves this game. That's awesome," you know. And
you know, and if you're gonna do a video, if you're gonna do a video campaign like that, you know what I would pull from? I would pull from first-time raid kills from people who aren't using explicit language, obviously, because of marketing. Because every time when you kill a raid boss for the first time, whether you're MightyTeapot, Snow Crows, or a more casual player like myself, you're freaking hyped. You're excited. You're like, yeah, you know, everybody's cheering and going crazy and whatever, right? That's the kind of stuff you want to show.
Yeah,
my opinion.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Like that actually probably hasn't really been done other than for Pro League, which actually, again, you know, that was, I would guess that came from ESL as well, and a little bit from Josh from Grouch when he was there. But it was awesome. Like, it was really good. Really, the marketing around that, there was a combination between both parties, I think. But then again, I think the top end of things didn't really have much to do with that. So I don't know. It's
yeah.
Tell people about, if you want to sell something, you tell people about it. You can't just rely strictly on
do interviews and
anything.
Radios. I mean, maybe not for Guild Wars 2, but you know, people do radio spots. They go to late night TV to talk about their movie and whatever they're doing. Right? They get out there. They publish themselves.
I mean, even panels. The sound panel at PAX West was fucking awesome.
Yeah,
it was so good. Like the sound guys, and they have got, like, when you talk to Guild Wars 2 ArenaNet staff, they normally have all the time in the world they will dedicate to talking to you and telling you how much they love working on the game. That's why I have no issues with anyone that works on the game whatsoever, other than the fact that maybe somewhere there are decisions being made, and I don't believe it's from the marketing team at all, about why their methods of how they tell people about how fucking good it is. Like, spread the word, man. Like, even that panel, like,
that was a great panel.
So good. It was so good. Those guys have got so much passion for what they do, and it's just absolutely amazing. I mean, telling people how they come up with the sound to make those undead creatures, you know, the Joko guys or whatever. It's just epic. You know, they go through all these different sound effects, and it comes from just one person at the end of the day as well, and using the most random shit, and like bringing in this massive inflatable balloon thing that they just people started chucking around the entire place. You know, they've got so much potential to do these things. I just wish they would do it more.
You see, what we do is we take this item and a piece of carpet, and we go scratch.
So good. That's pretty much it.
And that is where Shadow Behemoth's growl comes from.
Yeah. Did you see but that's cool though. But that's
awesome. Yeah,
that's awesome. That's so good.
It's so like, good. How do you make Shadow Behemoth's growl?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that for a dog or is that for your beard?
Yeah, like, cat brush.
But
that's so good, dude.
But they actually went outside and they like put something in someone's exhaust pipe and thing.
Right, yeah.
And they were like blowing something up like a glove or something like that. I don't know. It was really good. It was cool. They need more cooking shows. I don't know about the cooking one. I'm not sure what
that was just so out of left field, man. That just came out of nowhere. What the hell? That was that was funny. Well, oh,
Do you remember the
good
countdown?
Times, good times.
The countdown for Heart of Thorns when they did the 24-hour stream. That was good. That was good. My wife was on that. She did toast. She did something like she had the Guild Wars 2 toaster. Do you remember that? She was sitting there
the coveted toasters, man.
Yeah, she interviewed devs and like they had toast and like they were just eating toast and wine
different
and stuff
on the toast. Yeah.
Right. It was just like all these little things. They need to be quirky. They need to be them, and they need to be allowed to do that.
That can work with ArenaNet, right? Because ArenaNet they're a different company, right? They're a different company to other games companies for sure, right? They have, I don't know. It certainly feels like that, anyway. So they can do some different stuff, I think, and I think it can really work for them if they have a slightly alternative strategy.
Why the fuck not? Just give it a bash. If it don't work, no one's really told them it doesn't work other than the tweets, I think. Maybe a little bit of the cooking show, but other than that, like, I mean, they've not done too bad. They just need to have the opportunity to do it.
But I think that's a pretty good place to end. I think that's a good conclusion to the show. So yeah, I mean, thanks to Boots, who is gone, replaced by Jebro's head. And of course to Jebro and Surprising. Thanks for coming on, guys. And let's do a little bit of let's just tell everyone who we are. We've already, why should they listen to us? We have to tell them about that now. So let's tell you what. Let's do Surprise Inks. Surprise Inks. What is up, my man? How'd you where you been? What's up? What's going on? What's coming up?
I've just been super busy and holidays and all that good stuff. Hope everybody out there had a good holiday, a good New Year, and all that stuff. But I've been streaming a lot more over on twitch.tv/MMOinks. Go check it out. And, of course, there's still plenty of YouTube content over at youtube.com/MMOinks. Unfortunately, I'm not Logang. I'm not Logan Paul. I don't have that kind of I can't just do whatever I want. So, I get demonetized, but it's all good. You can still watch the videos.
If you're showing Joko, though, you're technically showing a dead body, so
Yeah, that's true, man. Inks exposed.
We're Joko free.
Yeah. No, you can't be Joko. That's just bad.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, then. That's MMO Inks, guys. And, of course, we have... is Jebro. Jebro, who does various things, various games, multi-game variety streamer. Jebro. What's the plan for you in the coming months?
Announcing Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments soon, hopefully this week. 28th is going to be NA, and I think the 11th we're going to do. This is Sunday. It's going to be EU. You can play in either region. You can play in both regions if you want. The thing is, our subject earlier when we were talking about cheating and whatnot, is that we're bringing rules to our tournament to ensure that people, if they want to play in both regions, they're just going to fucking play them. They're just going to have ping issues. If they want to win it, they can play. Fuck it. So if you want to play EU and you want to play NA both times, you can do it. Get 5 people together. The very least, hopefully, if we get more than 8 teams, is that you win 2K gems a player. Still, we've raised a shitload of money, thousands of dollars for players playing. So there is definitely interest there. The reason we delayed it is because the new PvP season hasn't started yet. So at the moment it's a bit quiet. I'm not going to say dead because there's still people playing. But other than that, I'm streaming pretty much every day. I'm streaming after the podcast now as well because I want to. There you go. And yeah, I mean, I'm doing Rocket League stuff. If you ever want to come and check out my Rocket League casting, I do that on Saturdays and during the week as well. But yeah, playing other games. I'm doing Witcher 3 on Friday. Still haven't fucking played that game, dude. Still haven't played that game. And I downloaded StarCraft 2 for free, MightyTeapot.
Oh, here we go.
Get MightyTeapot to stream fucking StarCraft 2 and I'll play with him.
Yeah? You want to 1v1 me, bruh? You want to 1v1 me, bruh?
You fucking win. Why would I do that? I'll admit defeat now. You're definitely better at that game. I'm slow, man. I'm old now.
All right.
But, seriously, man. I would fucking play the shit out of that StarCraft 2 and Command and Conquer regular. Every time I come on this podcast,
everyone always wants that CNC stream, man. They want it, didn't they? Want the CNC.
You should just put off a fucking donation goal for that shit.
Yeah,
just
donation goal is CNC stream. $1,000. I need to be paid $1,000 for a CNC stream with Jebro.
I'll do it for free. I just want to play it. I want to see MightyTeapot and Conquer. We almost did it one day. I swear we played. Didn't we play? Did we play together while we were streaming?
We almost did. You're playing CNC 3, I think. You're playing Command and Conquer. You're playing Tiberium. The Tiberium Wars.
Oh, it's Tiberium Wars. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. That's a great game, actually. That was a good one. That's a good one. CNC 3 is a great game, actually. I definitely recommend that. Yeah. But anyway, yes. Yeah, but obviously, yeah, be sure to check out Jebro, guys. Watch those Yugos. Let's participate in Yugos. Come on, easy win. Like, all you gotta do is defeat a bunch of plebs anyway, dude. Like, if you look, listen.
Battle of old school players.
Yeah, come on, you gotta knock them off their pedestal, guys. Come on, let's get it done. All right, you gotta sort them out. But anyway, then there's me. Follow the stream if you enjoyed this TeaTime, guys. It's the first TeaTime. TeaTime's back. Okay, we're back. Okay, we're back in 2018. It's gonna be fresh content.
Is back as well.
We're exposing people. We're exposing everything. Okay, it's exciting stuff. We're telling you we're gonna fix Guild Wars 2. Like, TeaTime is gonna completely fix Guild Wars 2. Job done, dude. Okay.
It's been fixing Guild Wars 2 since 2012.
Hell yeah, dude. So just follow the stream, sub to the stream, follow me on Twitter as well. Not Emma Winks. Oh no. Don't follow. Unfollowing some.
You're killing me. You're killing me. I lost a lot over the holiday.
Unfollow MMA Winks, boys. Just fully shut it down. Just shut him down.
It's all good.
That's all I care about, man. Is those Twitter followers. Like, that's all I'm in this for. Okay, I just gotta get that. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate that. Follow and subscribe and watch all of this and as many Guild Wars 2 content creators as you can. Actually, I really want to grow the scene, or at least help. So please. Go and watch everyone. Check it out. Like, there are so many great content creators. Jeb's about to start the stream. We're obviously going to host him. I mean, obviously, right? And that's why we can't see him, because he's translating over his cam. It doesn't work. You gotta get many cam, man. That's what I'm using right now. I can do both, dude.
That's true.
Dude. Yeah, man. I've got it on. I can show you guys, and I can also show it on the stream. So yeah, I got that down.
I used to have many cam, actually.
I got that down, dude. But yeah, we're gonna commence the raid. All right. Okay, guys. So we have the unique experience of being in the room as the man we're about to ruin his chat. So I want you guys to come up with a copy pasta for Jebro, guys. Okay, like you guys have got to hook me up. And guys, please stop arguing about pugs. Listen, Frostwolf Draker. Seriously, you guys have been going for like 10 minutes, man. What the hell's going on here? Anyway, but thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys on our respective channels in the future. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. We love you all very dearly.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Sometimes.